Y'all sit back and watch me speak. About to take over your screen. Talking bulls in 93. Talking mom, I'm on TV. Y'all know all I do is me. All I do is me. Y'all sit back and watch me speak. Y'all sit back and all I know, my money green. About to snap and make a scene. My cup off and make this free. My cup off and make them scream. Go back off for TMZ. Y'all sit back and watch me speak. Y'all sit back and watch me speak. Y'all sit back and watch. Watch me. Watch me. Watch me. Sit back and watch. Sit back. Sit back. Sit back. Sit back. Money long, nothing on credit. I got style, don't catch no feelings. All this bread ain't got no lettuce. I got style, don't catch no feelings. Watch me. Watch me. Sit back and watch. Sit back and watch. Sit back and watch. If it ain't got style, I ain't with it. I ain't with it. If it ain't got style, I ain't with it. Look, look. If it ain't got style, I ain't with it. I ain't with it. If it ain't got style, I ain't with it. Look, look. Look, look. Look, look. Look, look. Watch me. Sit back and watch. Watch me. Sit back. Sit back. Watch me. Sit back and watch. Sit back. Sit back. Sit back. Sit back.
Sorry about that. Let's try that again. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the VALORANT Game Changers Southeast Asia. We've seen stories of veterans versus the stories of the new bloods. We've seen new teams rise and fall, and today is a very good one because today we have a team coming in from the ranks of the veterans, forming a new team altogether, meeting with the lower bracket team. Today is the lower bracket finals between BOBA and Aura Differential. I'm Tashbunny, your host today, alongside Jen, your analyst, and it is our pleasure to be here to tell your story.
Yeah, and who else better to do it than Tash yourself? I actually had a little bunny joke coming up, but I completely forgot. So maybe that's for another day. Did you want to hear about it?
Yeah, tell me about it.
I was going to say, when it comes to hosting these shows, no bunny does it better than Tashbunny.
Oh, actually, that's so good. That's really
Cringe.
good. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about today coming forward. For you guys who have not been watching from day number 1, this is day number 4. And today is the lower bracket finals, where we're going to be seeing another team being eliminated. And the winner today will go straight to the grand finals. Isn't that right, Jen?
Yep, it's gonna be hell and heaven for either of those teams, and I'm super excited to see what happens here. I think we are looking at a good 3-mapper, if I'm not wrong. But yeah, Tash, what are you thinking?
So 3-mappers shouldn't be too bad for the teams. I mean, we've probably I think throughout this week it's such I would say a yardstick to see what kind of games are we going to be getting this season. Now, I think from the last 2 years it's been very one-sided. We see the same 6 teams up on top, and it's always, most matches will always be, we can already kind of tell who's going to come up at the end and who's not. But I think for this particular week, especially from our 2 teams, I think that's been playing so far, it's been very exciting. But before we get into that, let's have a look at this video about the format.
This is the VALORANT Game Changers SEA 2024. There will be 2 stages this year, Stage 1 and Stage 2. There will be an open in each stage and a group stage in Stage 2. The top 4 winners of Stage 1 will be seeded into Stage 2's group stage. The opens for Stage 1 will be held from the 26th to the 29th of March, and the playoffs will be from April 1st to the 5th. The opens for Stage 2 will be held in early July, followed by the group stage and playoffs. In Stage 1 Open, the top 8 teams will proceed to playoffs, and the top 4 teams will be seeded into the group stage of Stage 2. Stage 1 has a total prize pool of $10,000. In Stage 2 Open, the top 12 teams and the top 4 from Stage 1 playoffs will be seeded into group stage. The group stage consists of 4 teams of 4, and the top 2 teams of each group will proceed to playoffs. Stage 2 has a $10,000 prize pool. Visit gamechangers.fsl.gg for more information for VALORANT Game Changers SEA 2024.
And how educational and informative, and it explains the format with Victoria's beautiful voice. But here's my voice kind of breaking down the roadmap. Top 4 teams from Stage 1 playoffs move on straight to Stage 2 playoffs, competing with top 12 teams from Stage 2 Open. Now from there, top 8 moving on to Stage 2 playoffs, and then the top 3 will go on to represent Southeast Asia in Game Changers Pacific. Tash,
this is going to be really cool because it's a lot less I would say chances for a lot of teams to make it through. I mean, compared to last year's format where we saw Open 1, Open 2, Open 3, and then Open Overtime, finally getting to Elite. Everything was ultimately played inside of APAC. And now with Southeast Asia getting their own region, we can have a little less, I would say, a little less room and a little bit more competitive. Now, coming back to what I said earlier before we went into the roadmap, today is a very interesting day, or this particular tournament is very important to us because it shows us some new blood coming up, which weren't able to make it here last year. I'm talking about Rima, and I'm talking about another team here called Aura Differential. And these teams have not only only managed to make it here as a brand new team just formed together, but also teams that have just barely even hit I think the bottom of the ice to even show us what they're capable of doing. So while we talk more about that, let's have a look at the highlights here, because yesterday was a very, very important day for two of these teams. In the upper brackets, we saw Zipto versus BOBA, and this is such a rivalry match coming through. We have stories of former teammates, as well as the best of the best here coming in from Asia Pacific, going up against a brand new team of veterans that just came together in the last few weeks.
BOBA, you're talking, right? But with Zipto bringing in so much surprise, with their comp, the Paper X run, with the Sage and Shirazi, even on the operator on this map, BOBA did not have an easy time kind of responding to Zipto yesterday. Even Neri back on the get-go with this ace to close the
that
map
ace was
out.
so
That
good.
might have hurt BOBA's ego just a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, it's a really scary way to end the round, but you can tell that even on match number 2 that BOBA was not deterred. They played this map, I think, even though it was a loss, but they played it to perfection. They knew how exactly to play against a lot of these, I would say, these strats coming through from Zipto. But the thing that Zipto has compared to them is just that raw fundamentals, the aim, the speed, the understanding, awareness, and positioning. And this comes from, given the fact that the team has been playing. Yeah, has been playing for a long time. 4 of them exactly have been playing for a very long time. I wouldn't be surprised that they play better together. Now, on the second game that we saw yesterday, which is Rima as well as Aura Differential, these are the battles of the underdogs. Because I have to say that even though these players have been playing before from both of these teams, it felt like it was such a close match, and it felt like these players have been playing for such a long time. It was very clean. It was very, I would say, everyone knew what they had to do. And it was a battle of outplays and outreads from each other. It was very fun to watch.
And it was just Grahams and Salamura going insane. I mean, they just outplayed everybody, I think, on this map particularly. Now, what were your thoughts looking at how Aura was playing?
Aura, I would say that they did require some time to really figure things out. I think that was their problem. They take a bit 5 to 6 rounds to really figure out how to play against a team. And once they do, they can just collapse into each other and they start creating these strats, these counter plays, and they become very, very oppressive. Which is why usually on the second half, we get to see this really raw aim, raw firepower, and very, very oppressive plays come through from this particular team. And I have to say that I'm not surprised that it went all the way to a 3-mapper, especially on this particular map, because when it comes down to this, I think that one thing Samamura, Aura as well as Rima had in particular together is that both teams, in order for them to win rounds, it requires these hero clutches, hero plays, one player to pop off. And in this particular series, the one player to really pop off was Graham.
On that Sky too, right? It just surprises me how deep her Asian pool can get. And on this Lotus particularly, this was like 13-0 slapping from Aura.
Oh yeah.
It was
13-0.
Yeah. It was the cleanest and
shocked.
the best way to end the day for Aura. So obviously they're coming into this with so much confidence, and I just can't wait to see Lotus, if we do get Lotus today.
Yeah, Lotus is going to be very exciting because, I mean, we saw a tweet put up there by the players of Rima saying that they were not prepared for Lotus. They barely actually had time to prepare for it. So it was definitely not a map that they wanted to go into. They were really hoping that they were able to do something. But if you were to see in terms of practice, in terms of strats, in terms of play, that it looked a lot more cleaner for Aura Differential. Regardless, if you know that Aura Differential, they are an actual team that also has a coach coming through. So I think before we talk more about that, let's have a look at the brackets to see the journey heading toward today.
Yeah, so yesterday with our upper bracket finals, Zipto making it to the grand finals with their clean 2-0, which means BOBA will be fighting Aura Differential today. And yesterday, Aura Differential had a great game against Rima, as we mentioned.
Yeah, it was a very, very clean round against Rima, but I have to say the first two games were definitely very, very close.
Chaotic.
Now, let's talk chaotic would be the right word for it, yeah. But coming in from the beginning of day number 1, we saw Aura and Lilith versus Rima and Dangerous Rose. So you can see that all 4 of those teams are definitely a lot more newer. While there were a lot more, some new players or some new players coming through as well, but they are some of the players that have played prior but did not make it. So definitely I think this change in the format is definitely something good for a lot of the newer blood. Now coming into today, BOBA versus Aura differential, as I mentioned in the beginning, the story of the veterans who have competed for a long time here coming together to form a team only weeks before this tournament versus Aura differential, a team where we have a few that have competed before but didn't really get to see the spotlight, to just meet up with some new fresh blood. And by fresh blood here for Aura differential, I'm talking about Fi, I'm talking about Starry Bud, who previously competed in North America. I'm talking about Graham's. Now, the only 2 in that team that I feel, sorry, maybe 3 that in the team that has already had, I would say, experience prior to coming here today is Sawamura, who was previously known as Capricious, if you guys were watching Game Changers APAC last year. Tess, who was previously the MLT sub, as well as Starry Bud, who was previously in XSET and TSMX. But before we talk more about that, we're going to go for a quick break, so do not go anywhere because this is the lower brackets of the Valorant Game Changers Southeast Asia. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. This is the Valorant Game Changers Southeast Asia with Tashbunny and Jen here on the desk. Now, today is a very exciting day. If you guys missed our intro earlier, today we are going to be seeing the lower bracket finals between BOBA, a team that's just trying so hard to make it to the top, a team of veterans who just formed a team together, versus the underdogs here with the Aura differential, which I feel has stole a lot of people's hearts.
And, I'm actually glad that you actually put it that way, because it's extremely interesting today, because these two teams honestly have never played each other in the open, if I'm correct, and the only team that they lost to starting from the open till at this very moment is Zipdo. So honestly, this is where we'll get to see who the second best in the Southeast Asia will be, and I'm interested to see how today pans out.
Yeah, when you look at the teams so far, these two teams are going to be very exciting. I mean, if you guys are not aware for Aura Differential, as I mentioned before, for Aura Differential, the player that has only 3 players really have, I would say, full experience in competing, which is Tayrawr, Capricious, as well as Tess. Speaking of that, let's have a look at the lineup right now between these two teams. Now, for BOBA, I'm sure if you guys have been following Game Changers Asia Pacific 2022 and 2023, you guys will be very familiar with this roster. Baby TZ, who was previously in Full Sense Sapphire and X10 Sapphire, Kohaibi from SMGGC, number 4 last year in Game Changers Championship, Ayumi from RQ Kaguya, Casper from Orangutan X, as well as Aluka from Nigma Galaxy, as well as RQ Kaguya. Now, on the flip side, from Aura Differential, we have players who have never played before, like Grahams, as well as Phi. And for Starryban, she used to be in XSET TSMX. Tess, who was a sub for MLT Esports. And then finally, we have Capricious, the star duelist, who was in Nix Kyose, RQ Kaguya, Orangutan X, and Zol Meraki.
Yeah, and I think everyone's kind of excited about this team's momentum at the moment. Even Starryban saying, like, we don't know why, but even we are talking about how we just keep getting better day by day. And we also see tremendous amount of resilience from Aura Differential. So it's going to be super interesting seeing that BOBA super team and Aura just going up against each other.
Yeah, it's gonna be really exciting, because let's have a look at the duelists right now. The duelists are very interesting to me because both have insane superstar power. I'm talking about Grahams as well as Ayumi. Now, Grahams is a little bit of a unique case. She's more of a flex. She has a lot. Her agent pool is massive, but she gets, despite what she plays, she's that one player who is really aggressive. Those multi-frags are just so impactful. And when you go against Ayumi, I think everyone knows who Ayumi is. The one player who's been playing in Indonesia for about 3 years now. One of the best duelists here in Asia Pacific.
Especially, like, I love seeing Ayumi on the operator, finding so much impact and just so crisp with that sniper rifle. But Grams, for me, is just, it's a little bit of a surprise seeing how good you can be on any agent. It's like she transcends the limit of the agents. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if she even, like, picked up Brimstone and, like, had 400 ACS.
Yeah, for you guys at home who wants a really better understanding of her agent pool right now. So she has the last 3 agents she played during Swiss was actually Reina, KO, and Harbor. Yesterday, she played Sky, Yoru, and Reina. But she also has a track record of running a Gecko and a Sova as well. So it's really hard to say. Now, our IGL here from Aura Differential is Starryban. She's been co-IGLing with Phi. And despite her being an IGL, she's been fragging out.
Yeah, and also bringing a little bit of spice from NA as well. I just love how she knows just everything. She knows what to do in every single scenario, and she's not afraid to show her firepower as well.
Yeah, when you look at Starryban, I think that she's strictly the I would say the controller. She's actually one of the most impactful controllers I've seen so far for her team. She knows when exactly to go aggressive and when not to. And I really like how her calls have been. It's been very, when you want to go aggressive, she likes to do is she wants to go and just send one player in to get the information and just move from that and react of it. Now let's have a look at Kohaibi, the IGL for Boba. Now I think everyone knows Kohaibi at this point. Our chili padi is what we called in Malaysia, which is a bird's eye chili. Now when you look at Kohaibi, you think of a sentinel, right? I think for last year, especially during championships, she's been this very insane killjoy. She has a high percentage of headshot percentage, especially on Sunset yesterday with a 44% headshot percentage.
And especially with Kohaibi leading the team as an IGL, I feel like this is gonna mean more to her, you know, just kind of fighting for that rematch with Zipto yet again.
Yeah, I think that if anything, is just rivalry at this point. Of course, you want to be able to take on the best, with Zipto being there number one, I think, for about a whole year since last year. And I think at this point, you want to be able to crown your new queens of Southeast Asia for sure. Now, let's talk a little bit about what we can expect here today. So yesterday for Boba, I think that it's very, very fun looking at Boba because we always talk about Kohaibi being the sentinel. But yesterday, she was able to pull out that Sova on Sunset. And she's managed to swap that out with Baby TZ. So Baby TZ previously was the sole sentinel player, and now she's starting to swap out a little bit more. So I think these two players are just sort of like changing depending on the map. And Baby TZ really surprised me yesterday with the Odin walking around with the run and gun on Ascent is honestly obnoxious, I have to say, but it was very fun to watch as well. And if you look at the other players as well, I mean, Casper from Orangutan, she has always been known as that very strong controller. And, you know, seeing her play yesterday shows us all of that very consistent plays that I was expecting from last year to this year. I'm really hoping to see more from her today.
Right, and then we have the map vetoes coming up. It's going to be super interesting which maps they ban and which maps they pick, because we do see like specific strengths when it comes to map pool for both teams. We are going to Sunset, Lotus, and then as a decider, we're heading to Bind. For me personally, when I look at this map vetoes, I think whoever wins Lotus will win. It's just we haven't really seen Lotus from Aura Boba in playoffs, whereas Aura just had like that 13-0 yesterday. So that's going to be super interesting and I guess crucial for both teams to put up a good fight there.
Yeah, it is going to be very exciting to see that particular one, because for Aura, I think we saw a lot of that from Aura Differential as well as Rima. Their Lotus was very, very different to say. Now, the thing about Boba is that because they haven't played Lotus, it's really hard for Aura Differential to really figure out what they have in store for the team.
There's not a lot of bots, and there's no way how you can prep for that. But let's talk about Bind a little bit, because we saw Aura play the Bind against Rima. Very chaotic, as we mentioned before. But for me, Boba's Bind is a little bit of unknown still. Having that deadlock stage chamber, triple sentinels, right?
Yeah, that triple sentinel definitely can throw everyone off, and I think it is going to be very interesting as well, because I mean, when you talk about Boba, their coach Fal has always been known because I think because he's very creative with his strats and he knows how to gauge the strength of each team. He's able to really pretty much play any comp because he knows that his team is able to pull it off. I mean, when you're that good against your opponents, you can pretty much run anything you want. But the thing is, like, when you compare it to, like, say, Zipto, again, a team that knows what they're capable of and is very, very creative and dynamic with their comp, their stats, and even their fundamentals, you can pretty much run any strat, and still get away with it. Now, let's talk a little bit, as you mentioned before, Bind. The last time Boba played Bind was against Money First. That was the triple sentinel comp. I am really curious to see what exactly they're going to be bringing out. If we go to a map 3, I think that they're still going to be playing that triple sentinel comp, because if you want to gauge in terms of power, if a team like Money First was not able to wrestle that away, it might be a different story when it comes to Aura Differential. Now, for Aura Differential, for their Bind comp, they were playing against Rima GC, and it was pretty close, I have to say. Not pretty close, it was 7-13, but they did pretty well. I believe it was toward the second half on the attacking side. I think both teams did well on the attacking side, which is honestly surprising to me, because when you talk about Bind, it's always usually the defensive side. Now, coming into that first map, what was the first map against? Sunset. I mean, we've seen a lot of sunset maps, map picks from Boba. We've seen them play it so many times to the point that it's almost like we can already tell what exactly they're going to be doing, or are they going to be changing their strats depending on what fall calls. But now for sunset on Aura differential, the last time they played was Mommy's Kittens, and it was a landslide. It was a 13-4.
And that was Jet Reina double duelist comp as well, right?
Yes, that's the one. Now for Sunset in particular, what made it really interesting was the fact that they were just so powerful because they managed to get that defense side first. That map has not, for me personally, I think that it's a little bit more interesting how they played the defensive side, because they have a little bit more of an attacking comp, but we didn't get to see that much because they were on defense first. Because when you have a player like Grahams who's always on the lurk, he's not seeing Fi lurk, okay? It's Grahams who's lurking on tiles, and she's all over the map. Fi is just a secondary lurker, and she's pushing all the way to their spawn to gather as much information as they can. You have Sawamura, who's always playing for mid or top mid, going in with that very aggressive early picks with the op, with the Vandal, and it's really terrifying. And Tess, she's been massive. She's not even a Sentinel, but she's been managing to pull this 1v3 anchor on the site and all alone, and buying so much time for her teammates.
Yeah, interesting things coming out from Aura. Now, in terms of Boba, as we mentioned, they sometimes play the Phoenix comp. They switched it off to Sova, but you know, you can still tell that having that 8-13 or 9-13 against Zipto, it's going to be super strong. So we'll just have to see who's feeling it more, you know, from the onset.
Yeah, and I think that from Boba as well, it's really hard to say what they're going to be playing, because I think the only time we actually seen them bring out an actual comp is only against Zipto. They've run this map twice now against Zipto, and I think that it's a very interesting one, because when you look at the first time they ran the comp, it was against, you mentioned that Phoenix. But let's see what they're going to be choosing today, because personally I think the first time they went against Zipto, it was a lot closer than yesterday. And this time around, no changes all time around from both teams. I think it's a little bit too last minute for them to swap around, and I think that for me personally, Boba has this map pretty much down. They've perfected it. It's just definitely something that they are very comfortable with, and there's a reason why they keep coming to this map.
Hold on, let me just see. Well, they're actually slotting in the Jet or a differential, right?
Yeah, Graham's on the Jet this time around instead of Arena. And I think
it makes a difference, honestly, but Graham's just Graham's.
I mean, I think the reason why is because as Arena, Graham's needs to be able to get those picks. Arena is really rendered, I would say, irrelevant when she's not able to get picks, not able to dismiss, not able to overheal. Now, when you have this Jet, it's a little bit more safe in terms that she's able to go for that dash out. She is going to be very, very safe. Only granted, she only has one dash now, but if she has a pop-out round, she's going to go pop-off round, excuse me, she can go on for 2. Now, on the other hand here, I think that while it's not a bad thing per se, that value from Arena, I think might be something I'm going to miss a little bit more. Because of that overheal, because of that dismiss, it allows for a lot of repositioning. That overheal means that she can easily, top up her health back to 100, which means that she can go in for more aggressive frontline fights without having Sawamura going in too aggressively. Regardless, these two players go aggressive anyways, so it's going to be very, very scary. And now here comes the scary part. Either I'm going to jinx it or I'm not. The match prediction. Okay, I mean, I think it's fair.
Okay.
It's fair.
If you
we have a representation.
I get it right.
If I jinx it, then please don't come find me and yell at me.
Please, not the same team as Tash. But yeah.
Yeah, not the same team as Tash, so you could blame me if something wrong happens, of course. And if Aura loses, Jen is the jinx and it's not me. That means I have broken the curse, and that's exactly what everyone wants to hear from Southeast Asia. Thank you very much. Regardless, I'm really excited to see this particular match come through, and let's see whether or not these underdogs will be able to take up the fight against these veterans. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna pass it to our casters. We have Zahk and Tayrawr.
Ladies and gents, lower bracket finals is what we have right here for you guys today. My name is Tayrawr. Alongside with me is Zahk. It's been a while, Zahk. Have you had fun with replacing me with Dax? I'm a little of a jealous type, sorry.
It was only for a day, Tayrawr, but don't worry, my heart is always with you. As I think we have been casting together for the longest time since 2022, if I'm not wrong. So I think that we'll always be like that OG duo synergy. But that said, this match, lower finals, everything on the line, slot for the grand finals up for grabs here, and like our panel so succinctly broke down, it's the story of the all-star team going up against the underdogs.
I mean, I'm all for the underdog storyline here, Zach. What about you? Like, your thoughts? We looked at the agent composition already. You have that double innie set up towards the side of Boba and a double duelist alongside Aura differential here.
Yeah, I think that that pick of the Sova, we didn't really see much value coming out of it in their game against Zipto because there was no Cypher, but the Sova is a perfect counter for Cypher, which is why a lot of the teams run it. So I'm pretty sure that Goibi will be able to find even more value today because, I mean, last time, even if the utility didn't come to the greatest of views, she was still able to pop off just because she's Kohibi. And in terms of these teams, you asked me like how I'm leaning towards. I must admit a little bit of bias because personally, I'm like a huge Casper enjoyer, best controller in SEA, whatever you want to say it. So,
I get it.
Yeah,
All the way back from 2022, right? So for you, it's Boba. For me, it's Aura. And if today Tash doesn't jinx it, then Jen and I would win. Am I right? So with that, without further ado, we're starting off with our first pistol round here for the two teams. Again, this map is picked by Boba. We've seen what they're capable of, but it all boils down to this series that we have here in Zach.
Yeah, definitely. Best of 3 up for grabs. Looking at this map, Vito, I mean, Boba definitely have leaned into their strengths because even though they lost this map to Zipto, they've only really lost this map to Zipto. Everywhere else, they've been very, very convincing, even with the wacky Asian comps that they've been running over the course of this tournament, I must say. That said, though, Aura going for a little bit of aggression now towards A main. Get rewarded with a kill onto Baby TZ, and with that Cypher being shut down here, I think that Boba are going to make the decision to continue to push further onto the site just because of that lack of utility. Also trying to find those trades. Sawamura finds another one though, taking out Olga before Gohibi actually gets that trade. It's gonna be Tess now left with a sliver of HP. No utility left either. Just trying to play this 4v3 retake.
14 HP to be exact. Smoke dissipates. She sees the angle. Painchil's quite far from where she is right now as the paranoia settles in. Of course, the retake also goes in. Casper, on the other hand, will die off from the players of Aura here. I would say it seems like Boba from the start has it in the bag, but then again, Sawamura was able to catch one before she dies off, and then the rest was able to, I guess, get a heal.
I mean, just like that, I think what you said is absolutely correct. And Sawamura finding that extra kill there made all of the difference because throughout this round, right from the beginning, from that first confrontation, Aura got that player advantage and they did everything they could to keep control of it. Like you saw how quick they were to draw back onto that A side, the rotation coming in from mid and B, and just that readiness for the retake, which I don't think Boba were quite prepared for because by the end of it, it was a 4v2 that we were looking at. So overall, super good round coming out of Aura. Really, really nice pistol. And for Boba, they're not going to be able to invest too much into this aside from that frenzy onto Baby TZ. They do look like they want to contest some different areas of the map. A bit of a default to start off with, but Grahams just goes huge with that Spectre finding a double headshot onto Aluka.
They know that they have that certain advantage when it comes to the guns right now. I do like this push and pull coming in from them. They don't want to give any guns away as well, just in case there's going to be 3 people peeking, as we can see, towards B main. They do have the spike here as well. No other control points in the area of the map. And Trailblazer being set out by Tess here, they would know that there's no one on A main and focus their strengths towards B.
Cage triggered.
And there's already a couple of players here with that cage and the smokes coming down. It's just going to be a trade of utility as they try to walk onto site here. Bulldog watching the cross and 5 more than good for both of these kills. Casper at least able to find one to deny the flawless, but overall a very strong round to come out of Aura. And this Lotus is shaping up to be quite deadly here because they have those Bulldogs as well as a Guardian, I believe, if I'm not wrong. So
especially after that first pick that we just saw from there, Zach, as well. They lose the ability to have that little bit of a stun or a little bit of a flash here and there. But then again, it was a pistol round for them. And Casper was just waiting patiently all the way on mid, just making sure she has the lurk, she has the flank, able to catch one, but That's all they get from that round. And now it's their official buy round for the time being.
I like that Aura have done the research. In fact, both the teams have done the research in terms of setups and how to take care of them. Like you saw instantly, that camera trying to get shut down here towards A main, as well as I would say the shock dart doing the damage here onto these tripwires. They're still, I think BOBA are still looking to put pressure on this A side. Cypher does get spotted out here. The isolated position from Grahams tries to make one work, but Gohaibi and her teammate too wary about it, and with that Cypher util broken down, it's time for the crunch of the side through market. Ayumi takes care of Cypher. The paranoia just a second late from Starhaven as Baby TZ finds yet another kill. 3v2 situation in this bonus round for Aura, and how much damage can they really find here? Because so far it's been flawless from BOBA.
It has been, but Samura has that angle. Unfortunately, not gonna catch anyone here. It's a triple peek all the way here in BOBA as the team is also there as well. It's now up to Tess, only with the Spectre. No one to find, really. I guess she's just waiting for that exit frags, as we are waiting on that as well. I do love the lurk coming in from Ayumi here as well. All the attention was towards being main there. Anyway, as Tess goes down, the round is done as well, closing off to a 2-1.
Yeah, the bonus for Aura not exactly shaping up as they would have liked, but overall not too bad either since they denied that flawless. That said though, great situation for BOBA to be in because they have the guns, they're able to keep 4 of them, so definitely going to help their economy a great deal. And you can see that they're not afraid to get aggressive and get scrappy in these fights, which is really going to help them charge up those ultimates in these future rounds. Talking about ultimates though, looking at what we have here, neither side really has anything ready to go with the exception of Gohaibi, who might be able to get that Huntress Fury online for that post plant. That said, though, look at Grahams. She's investing in that operator, which is going to be positioned towards his A side.
Half armor is what she has right here. Shock Dart so far been connecting pretty well on the trips that is being set by Aura here. Not quite sure if they're going to adjust onto that on the following rounds, but so far it's a stack or a triple stack towards B site here as BOBA tries to take mid control, and they haven't let anyone actually take mid control here for the side of Aura. But for the meantime, Baby TZ fighting for her life here, sets up a cam, sees the Cypher. But then, will she be able to go? No! Because of the stun connecting perfectly as well. Ayumi, yet again here on market, trying to find blood. Anyone possible to kill, while Aura's just holding off for that retake scenario.
Yeah, just so much utility available for BOBA, and you can see that the Sova really sets them up for success for these B hits. I really like this market crunch that they have coming in with Ayumi satchely in through mid. I think that really creates a lot of pressure, and with those kills being found so fast, so quickly, and that operator being such a heavy investment, it's just going to be a call to save here coming out of Aura, especially since for the next round, the people who did die on the team don't really have the money to work with, so these hero weapons are going to be huge to carry in. I think BOBA realized that it's most likely a save that's going to be coming through for these players. I kind of see Gohaibi debating if she does want to go for the hunt. Aluka already on it seems like, just making sure that they're not being flanked, there's no one looking and waiting for exit frags, and while BOBA do win the round, they're also going to be playing a little bit more conservative here, hoping to keep their weapons and continuing to expand their economic welfare while letting their opponents save. And I don't think they have an idea about the op yet, which could be important.
Yeah, it's a 50-50 chance, right? You pick the right position, you get so much kills from an operator. You pick the wrong one, then it's going to be a difficult take on a retake scenario, especially if you're only 3 players remaining here. For BOBA though, like you mentioned a while ago, they find so much value coming in from the shock darts here from Gohaibi. Obviously, destroying tripwires here and there is already value enough, but aside from that, having Aluka on the breach to help out the pushes coming in from the team has been very essential.
Yeah, so many of these rounds, you just see these players concussed, flashed, whatever, and it's just BOBA peeking into them and being like, oh, thanks for the kill, thanks for the ult orb. It looks that easy the way they do it. Just really good team coordination. And I must say their sunset, it looks much more playable or believable than yesterday, but that's a huge kill to start off with. Graham takes care of Baby TZ. The problem is that wasn't really the site that was under attack, under siege, because the rest of the push, it's going to be coming through on this A side. They already have control of this main lobby. You can already see them clearing out elbow to boot, and there are 3 players from Aura stacked around this site. I'm curious to see if that's going to be finding value. It's all going to come down to timing here on these peaks. A really nice flash, but it connects with your own teammate. Tess, though, able to find 2 huge kills, and the paranoia as well kicking in for good measure. It's this triple stack that is finding so many kills. Casper, though, goes absolutely ballistic. A triple for her at this round. She's salvageable.
She goes for the TP from the shadows all the way to B side. She plants the spike as well.
30 seconds
And
left.
at the same time, Fi still has that setup towards market. They do have a cam as well. But again, it's a 2v1. One with an operator and Fi with a bulldog for now. They do have a neural theft as well. And this will actually give intel exactly where Casper would be. She goes for a reposition here. All the way to the back ends of the site, not knowing that someone is definitely close. Grahams holds the position. She doesn't know the TP is there as well.
That was so smart out of Casper to be able to bait out the neural theft like that and reposition so quickly. That's the information, though. She knows where this operator is positioned right now. Has a smoke to play around to boot, but it's gonna be Graham's, that hero operator, really coming in clutch for the first and last kill of the round. And a huge effort from Casper, almost winning out the 1v5 like that, but 1v5 is a 1v5 for a reason. It's pretty difficult, especially when there's an operator on the other side waiting for you to peek.
At least she was able to get those 3 kills in, especially after Tess flashed her teammate as well. It still worked out in their favor up until the very end here. Fortunately for that triple kill from Casper, no flashes needed at all. And going up against an operator here, especially in a 2v1 scenario, you definitely would know that she would just hold that angle off for the diffuser of the spike. Moving forward though, position-wise, Grahams chooses B. Okay. I do like the repositioning of the tripwires here, Zach.
Yeah, really adapting around to high B shock darts. The problem is that, I mean, the one-starts market are good, but the main reason why Cypher is so strong on this map is because it's so difficult to break that tripwire towards
they
main.
destroy it
and,
again.
Yeah, the market one as well. It goes down the drain. Gohabi knows. Gohabi knows. She's done her research and she's definitely put in the prep work to make these utility pieces really combo out in her favor. Talking about utility though, it's gonna be the showstopper to start things off with a banger here. Takes care of Fi and the Cypher camera and setup on site. Not that Gohabi already hadn't. Still though, 4v4 situation. It's gonna be Starry but looking to play anchor on site. Gohabi gets the first, able to find the trade seekers. Pour some additional pressure here. There is a neural theft available for maybe TZ. I'm surprised that she hasn't quite used it yet. Maybe holding off until the last second. There we go. Here it comes. The retake already on play. Sawamura to find the first, but Aluka and Baby TZ, they clean up what remains. And Baby TZ will be the last one left standing as Boba tie things up 3-3.
Lots of mistakes actually coming in from that round. I don't reckon that the recon coming in from Gohabi should be there, but up until the very end, there's no follow-up from Ayumi, but they still made it work. They still made it happen. I think the plan here generally for the side of Aura is to really just stabilize everyone in the site and just go in all together, but unfortunately, just too much. Again, having that operator for a retake scenario has that 50-50 chance. For the time being, we go into the next round as the knives has been set. Grahams, though, unfortunately not gonna catch anyone.
You're not gonna be able to get that kill. That said, though, it is a bit of an equal round here for Aura, so it's just a question of how much damage can they really do here. Once again, this B side, the place that's so difficult to take down. Finally, the Cypher system utility actually coming into play here. The adaptation of the tripwire is paying off, as that's 1 kill coming through here for Aura, making it a 4v4. That's the Boba. They have the information. They know there's a stack here most likely, and they are happy to just pivot off and go to the opposite side of the map. That is a rifle that could be retrieved. Sawamura picks it up here, but at least Boba, they should be able to at least get that site control and get that spike down.
Yep. Now that they have one more additional gun to their artillery here, makes it a little bit more powerful. But yet again, big rotations coming in from Aura as well. Having a good read is definitely one key to make this happen, especially if you don't have the guns to really do it. Aluka still has a Rolling Thunder available here. Gohabi also with the Hunter's Fury. It's gonna be a difficult take, Zach.
Yeah, I think because you go around, your shots are gonna have to be pristine, but that one way already doing so much work here, setting up a Yumi for success in these fights. Just gonna be Starybun left alive right now, at least able to reposition herself with the help of that TP, but with just a pistol in hand, looking into a double Vandal spray, really not much you can do in that situation, so BOBA will retake that lead here, but not a bad eco from Aura. I am a little bit concerned though, because they did invest that showstopper in that particular round, if I'm not wrong, so, and it didn't really find the greatest value, so a little bit of a hasty decision there, I would say, from Sawamura. That said though, I think for BOBA, they're slowly starting to look a little bit more, how would I say this? It's like they're giving their opponents a little bit more respect. In the first couple of rounds, you saw them kind of just running down, taking those contact plays, but now they're investing way more utility. You can actually see those flashes coming into play. And even on that A site, knowing that it was most likely empty, they were so patient about it, which I really like.
Oh, Yumi wants to go in already. Not even gonna wait for the doors to close. Maybe the timing is correct. One-way smoke from Tayrawr. Actually picks up 2 kills. She has to move away. 20 HP remaining. Still has the paranoia being used up, but unfortunately goes down with Casper getting the kill. Graham's on the other hand, good position as well. Kohibi with 1 HP. She has to move further back. 4 HP remaining and a spike dropped on B.
1v2. This could be the clutch of all clutches, but you can see that Aura, they're trying to play that high-low setup, not let themselves line up here. Grams knows that Kohibi is low, will be happy to go in for the peak and that kill. 4-4 here, and Aura really keeping up neck and neck despite BOBA and their anti-striding, I would say, with the help of that Sova utility. It's just so nice, all of these micro plays, especially this one way from Starry, but the fact that she spots out Ayumi, hears the door being broken, has the time to get that one-way setup and take contact and find 2 kills, almost repositioning in time for the third. Really, really good hold.
I do think, though, whenever they have mid-control, especially market control for the side of BOBA, it makes more of a round for them, to say the least. And with, again, that mid-control, everyone says the one who controls mid controls the game. Am I right? But with that, they try to destroy the broken or break down the doors, basically. Take some space. They have that double innie anyway. They can get info coming in from Kohibi. The dog set upon by the tripwire. 30 HP, Zach.
Thankfully, this time around she was not low, because there's nothing more depressing than going down to that Sky Trailblazer.
Oops.
Okay, a little bit of a
plan.
snafu. All part of the plan, yeah. A little bit of a snafu there in that burst satchel from a Yumi, but she takes it in stride. Gonna be just taking contact onto the site. A little bit of a aftershock and flash to enable her to get safely onto site here. There's that pesky Cypher setup to deal with, but it's going to keep them from really extending too much into CT, which isn't a problem because the plant is an open plant and they have so much post plant available with that Rolling Thunder and that Hunter's Fury.
Definitely true. They saw the cam finally. And they haven't invested this ultimates since a while ago. Maybe this is the time. But Kohibi will be going down. Hunter's Fury down also. And this is the retake scenario coming in from Aura. They pick up one more kill. 3v2, make it a 3v1. Starybun is the only woman remaining here. They close things off to a 5-4. Still a very close fight.
I really like that play coming out of BOBA there because they knew that there was a flank coming in. As soon as Kohibi went down, you could see them putting further pressure towards CT, taking those fights head-to-head, knowing that they have to fight for more space. I think that's a mistake that a lot of the teams really do here, which is just try to hold on to their initial positions in this post plant. But when there's a flank coming in, you can't really afford to do that. And BOBA had both the presence of mind and the aim to win out those duels towards CT. And I just feel like Aura weren't ready for that fight. Really well played by them, and they managed to conserve all of these ultimates into this next round. They did have to use the Rolling Thunder for that CT push, if I'm not wrong, but it's a good trade, especially if you're going to be winning the round off the back of it. Eco round now for Aura. It seems like they're the ones who want to get a little bit aggressive here, and once again, it pays off. I think in terms of first bloods, they're just so consistent.
They didn't pick up the gun here, but instead BOBA rushes things to a side. Not prepared for Starybun waiting there. But unfortunately, Fi will also go down as she tries to get the trade here. It's still a 3v3 though. Again, they haven't picked up the guns from a while ago. The timing just perfect. Kohibi, on the other hand, they throw in utilities here and there. But then can they clear it out? They push away for Aura to go around them. And still, they couldn't puncture inside the site.
Yeah, it's just Sawamura left alone right now and fighting for her life here, I would say. The stun, the flash, everything at the kitchen sink being thrown at Sawamura, and finally Ayumi puts her out of her misery for this round. 4-6, Boba starting to build up a little bit of a lead here. This game has been so back and forth, and I think that's a huge testament to Aura's differential and how much they've improved over the course of just this tournament. Remember, this is a new roster, players that are playing together with a very short time period, and a lot of these names as well, they're new. Like, this is Graham's first professional tournament, and she's definitely been putting up the numbers.
Definitely true. I mean, the operators so far, they've invested a lot on this, and it seems like wherever Graham's is as well, they get 1 or 2 pickoffs coming in from that. Sawamura is the only person to show, just to make sure there's no cam set up here up on the B main. But other than that, it's just more of to create that space for the Jet to cross, or Graham's to be exact.
Yeah, the bait and switch, we've seen it before. Sawamura takes care of the drones, so Graham's position isn't going to be expected here, but again, it's just this defaulting that consistently comes out, and Bolev did a really good job of conditioning this B side, making Aura think that, alright, this is where they're going to be coming with all the pressure that they're putting, the utility that they're investing, and they started rotating more and more players quickly. You can see the speed of their rotations to boot, so I think that with this A side coming in, the saving grace for Aura is that it's a Cypher trying to anchor it. Gohaibi invests that Hunter Spree early on to clear out all of these power positions, combining it with that showstopper, but oh my god, Starryman completely shuts Ayumi down there.
A little bit of an Rosa ult, but nonetheless, they make space for the plant here in A side. Casper, on the other hand, upwards position, they already know this. Aluka goes for a flash, but alongside that, other players are also flashed out. Sawamura gets 1, not another though, as Aura tries to shut everyone out. Gohaibi left alone, but not enough to take another pick off here, as Aura closes things off to a 6-5.
You know, when I saw Gohaibi was the one in the 1v3, I was genuinely terrified for a second, especially since 2 of these players were quite low. But yeah, thankfully, in the 1v3, they don't line up, and they're very good at trading each other out, which is often the biggest problem in these kind of concerns. So really, really nice retake to come out of Aura here. And I think this team, Satchel in particular, you can see that both Casper as well as Sawamura were blinded by different pieces of utility, but I think that Sawamura being able to get that reposition there really enabled her to get both of those kills onto site and make this retake really work. And also, we saw how far back they were playing on this A side. I think that that after that initial aggression from A, they expected that showstopper combination to be coming in for that push, and it really worked out that they were so passive.
Once they leave the spike, you know, it's gonna be a default setup coming in from Boba right now. They're trying to look for any pick off possibly anywhere here on the map. Gohaibi is the only person that they have seen so far, and she's just throwing her darts to make sure to destroy shock darts. But then again, why destroy a shock darts if you can kill Fi?
Yeah, just taking out the Cypher, taking out all the traps here. Gohaibi has been an absolute menace on this B side, just making the value of the Cypher so difficult to use here. Noise being cut as well. They're not really sure because Gohaibi has been a solo player around this B side for the longest time for the last few rounds, and now it's going to be a full-on crunch that we're looking at here. So Sawamura stuck in the corner, forced to reposition, tries to satchel out, but Gohaibi shuts all of that down. It's going to be Gohaibi taking the lead here. It's going to be Starryman shutting her down though. 3v4 situation. Starryman playing around site, desperately trying to stay alive here. Finds another kill though. That could be huge, and that's a spike dropped. Starryman now going for that reposition, going for that turnaround. Timing going to be everything. Ayumi finds a huge frag onto Graham's, and with that spike plant, Noise being made, it's going to be the attempt at trying to reposition towards that A side, but now, once again, it's Casper in a 1v2.
Starryburn really good in finding these possessions as well. I mean, Paranoia connecting perfectly, right place, right time. They were able to clear out Elise, some of the players here from Boba, but then again, Casper's still alive here, holding off the post plant position. She's trying to internalize where would Aura players be, but it's gonna be this switch or double swing coming in from Aura. Not much needed effort as they close off the round with Starryburn, Starrybun getting 4 kills in total for this map, or for this round.
Yeah, this round Starryman was definitely the hero. You know, you're usually used to thinking about the Cypher as that anchor player, but she was the anchor. She was the one going around like a ghost on site. And you know, while we do call Casper the friendly ghost, I must say in that round Starryman was very unfriendly towards the rest of BOBA, and she definitely did a great job in shutting down all of this, forcing the TP out towards that A side and forcing Casper to try and play out that 2v1. Even in that final situation, the awareness that, all right, this is probably where that player is going to be, especially when that smoke is coming in, almost a pre-fire to shut down Casper. And we're going to be having a 6-6 half tied up here. But, you know, we can keep yapping about it. We're going to be yapping about it more after we come back from this. But first, our panel, please break it down what we just saw.
A 6-6 half is definitely something I did not expect. I was really honestly expecting a bigger lead from BOBA given the fact that this is their map pick. What do you think, Jen?
Really, I was actually, in the beginning of the rounds, I thought Aura would have a bigger lead. But for me, though, what made it hard for Aura was that lack of proactivity when they were losing rounds. I think it was a lot of pressure on Grums, and she was doing pretty well getting those info and kind of holding an angle on one side and you know, putting pressure, you know, and Aura were able to put a lot more pressure on the opposite side. It was just that BOBA were able to work their way in, and I just thought, you know, when you have the breach comp against you, you're supposed to just be more proactive, you know, go one step further, but without that, we only saw that happen in eco rounds, and it worked wonders. But I would have loved to see more of those early aggression coming out from Aura in gun rounds as well. With that being said, I think BOBA have done a great job of kind of using their firepower and taking those duels to work their way in, but somehow we end up at 6-6.
Yeah, 6-6 is definitely something that's really surprising to all of us, but again, reminding everyone that BOBA tends to do better on the defensive side. So let's see whether or not if that will be true. So going to toss it back to our casters, Zach and Tay. What do you guys think?
A lot of great points that you've made there on the desk. Thank you, Tash and Jen. And I mean, completely agree with you. I think that 6-6, it's been very back and forth. Grams in particular, like you mentioned, has been just such a force of nature, not just in today's game, but also throughout this tournament. I think that the experience that Starybun brings with her, as well as the way her calling has just really elevated this team, I would say, from their first couple of days of gameplay, has been a pleasure to watch. And now on this attacking side with that double duelist, it's their chance to really do some damage.
And like you said, you know, the trade-offs coming in from Team Aura right now has been pivotal on the rounds that they've won as well. They pretty much have good reads and good positionings against BOBA here. But let's see on the side swap as BOBA is on the defense and Aluka is prepared for that stun anytime soon that she finds out there's going to be someone. The stun settles in, players move away, and this is just the repositioning coming in from Aura. Oof.
We're already going for a little bit of a walk onto side exploratory journey. He spots out Aluka, but doesn't want to take that fight. It's just Ayumi looking to play anchor on side, 1-for-1 trade though, and that's going to summon the rotation back towards his A side. Casper already made her way here though, so does have an isolated fight on the side against Jet. I don't know if they're going to be expecting her positioning right now. This fight could decide the how this round could conclude here. Graham's alone on side, fighting for her life. Actually finding the kill onto Casper is huge. Glivey though gets the timing, gets the refrag to boot, but still numbers remain in favor of Aura here. A couple of players low. Unfortunately, no shock guards available for Kohaibi this time around. It's all gonna have to be these gunfights. A beautiful stun though. Try and isolate this fight. Both players behind this box stuck. Graham started off and Graham has to end it. 18 HP left. Dash activated. A 1v1. Both players low. One bullet away from these ghosts. The spike gonna be dropped on site. There's not much time left here. Aluka knows that she can win it out just by playing for this exact case here. And while Graham's has to face the pressure of picking up the spike and planting it, Aluka is able to just swing out and give her a little love tap on the shoulder. Really great round to come out of BOBA. It got dicey there towards the end, sure, but overall they rotated diamond to get the trades.
Such a good fault line as well to really initialize that kills coming in from Aluka. I mean, almost you would never know who's gonna win. It's all about the angles, right? Especially when you go dash away and hide off, knowing that the spike needs to be picked up. She was going for a fake plant here just to push out Aluka from her position, but nonetheless, she had the better positioning for that round. But 7-6, as they get the pistol here, they will also get the guns. Baby TZ holding on to an outlaw as well. Can be crucial. Gets one. Will she get another? Not on the second shot.
Here comes the execute itself. Dash player onto site. Still does have his outlaw to try and isolate these fights here. The flash utility does perfect and grabs with the Sheriff. Again, just gets an absolutely nasty shot onto Aluka. That means that the breach utility is no longer going to be a factor, and while she was dropped down to 20 HP, that's the nice thing about having a Sky. You can always heal yourself back up here. There is going to be that recon to show where these players are, and commence this retake. Gohaibi with the Spectre just spraying them down, surrounded by enemies on all sides. There's just not much you can do here. Tess does take down Casper for her troubles, but overall, a very nice retake to come out of BOBA, and they managed to carry the most heavy weaponry forward, including this Outlaw.
I mean, basically your goal for the second round, especially if you don't win a pistol, is to get as much kills, plant the spike, get some economy running for your side as well. And at least they were able to do that. Comparing it to the first half that we've witnessed a while ago, no value on this pistol or eco rounds, but good shot coming in from Grahams as well, making sure at least she gets a pick off here. And then at the latter part, of course, this second half is what matters. This pistol round on the second half is what matters for majority of the games that we are looking at. So BOBA getting that advantage can be crucial, can be huge.
Yeah, it will definitely help them run away with the lead here, because we've seen how good they can be when they get that momentum in their favor. Both of these teams, in fact, run very well off the back of that momentum. Maybe TZ with this outlaw going to be holding down mid. There is one player here, Tess, unfortunately, just not ready for that angle, and it's going to be a kill, huge kill to come through. There is going to be a trade at least from Tayrawr, though Baby TZ is still doing the damage with this outlaw. A second kill already for her, and she's still looking very, very healthy. Has to set up on the B side. The cam will spot out both of these players by going in for the peak. Takes 140 to the body, and this flank as well tries to come in, but Ayumi gets shut down. Starybun going huge once again. 3v3 situation, but two of these players are looking so low here. And the spike still hasn't gone down, so Gohaibi has a chance. Never mind, Tayrawr takes her down. 2v3.
Cam set up already. 10 HP remaining onto her. On the other hand, they still have the guns. Aluka does have a frenzy here, but they're clearing up angles left and right. Baby TZ to defuse the spikes. Such a good stun, or rather aftershock as well. And that will be the defuse. BOBA winning this bonus round as well is very crucial for this first map.
One thing I really like about BOBA's retakes is how fast they are on them. This is something that I've observed throughout their games, especially on Sunset, but they've just been so good at these flood retakes that just don't let your enemy reposition. And that's exactly what happened this time around. Even though it was a 2v3, they knew that most likely the Cypher was low, because I do think that they spotted out the shot coming out of Baby TZ. So they were able to just capitalize on that, and once it became a 2v2, again, they just constantly keep this pressure up, denying that late lurk, and at that point, it's just insult to injury that Tayrawr gets taken down by counter spam from a Sheriff through a cyber cage. It's just gonna hurt.
Oh, this Regan's gonna show everyone. Will it? Or did it pass through? Okay, got destroyed.
Broke it.
At least. I mean, you saw how Baby TZ basically responded to what was happening through market. There were two people flying in from Aura. It's two agents flying, to say the least, right? So you have to act fast as well. And it seems like a tripwire dash back away, and Aura still ready to go in. The flash settling in, perfect for Baby TZ, but then doesn't completely flash her. The timing a little bit off, and now a triple kill to close things off for now. Aura is trying to bounce back here. Again, lesser on the buy, but still managed to pick up a kill. 4v2 scenario here. Spike planned it out, but then again, a perfect flash, a stun to make things happen for Baby TZ and her 5 kills.
Yeah, the first couple of kills was Baby TZ just chopping heads like we're used to seeing her doing, but the last couple were completely enabled by the team, and it was just a beautiful ace to watch. The stuns, the flashes, like you said, and that paranoia from Casper as well, really just enabling them to take those fights without fear. Of course, being in a 4v2 always helps as well, but Starybun was able to pick up a gun after getting that kill with the Sheriff, so that could have definitely been dangerous here. Also being able to shut down grabs and just that spray down from Baby TZ. I mean, I know it's against Sheriffs and lesser weapons, but still, it's really impressive when you consider that she has a Vandal in play.
Oh, the first timeout we've seen for this game number 1, and it's from Aura differential 6-10. you reach that double-digit score, you realize to yourself there's not much room to make mistakes anymore. Plus, for the side of Aura, I mean, you don't have that capability to destroy the tripwires, right? It's about the shock darts a while ago, but now it's really about for BOBA having space for Baby TZ to also set it up properly. I mean, this is one of those maps where Cyphers truly shine, and so far, Baby TZ has been doing so.
Yeah, it's not even like, you know, usually when we see ciphers pop off, it's usually more of the ratty kind where they hide in random places and get kills between their cages and tripwires, which is good. It works. It's effective, yes. But Baby TZ is not doing any of that. She's just going for these peaks, going for these kills, and taking care of whoever does have the audacity to walk into where she's trying to anchor. And I mean, that perfect 2-0 KDA tells it all. When your highest killing player on your team is a cypher, when you have everybody else, it's just Baby TZ difference. I feel like I gotta say that. That said, though, 10-6 right now. Timeout taken by Aura here. One thing that we haven't really seen too much for them is this mid control, and now they're going to be investing a lot of resources into it. Casper's going to be that sole point of focus to try and hold on to this market. The one-way going to be definitely helping a lot, and we saw these takes from Aura yesterday before when they would try to put this mid pressure, flash through, and go towards site, but instead this time around, they're taking it a little bit more slow.
Right there.
Destroying the tripwire is already something for the side of Aura. They make a little bit of an adjustment here, and that means BOBA has to watch mid now. Ayumi, on the other hand, is holding down preciously towards a main. Will Phi swing? That's the question. Will it be wide? So much for my heart right now, and the shot doesn't connect. She has to move further away. Again, Ayumi has a showstopper still. Oh,
Huge lurk, though. The mid control that we saw so long ago finally coming into play. Grabs was chilling all that time. Goibi now exerting a little bit of additional pressure to maybe try and deny this from coming through. But oh, the timing here perfect for Sawamura. Just being able to run in and shut down Goibi while she's on the ult. At least there's going to be an immediate refrag coming out from the team here. But still, a 3v4 on the retake with one of them being an operator. And this is going to be the moments of truth. How will this play out? Because, I mean, Ayumi does have that showstopper, but the push is perfect off the back of the flash. Just able to shut that down completely. Grabs with yet another kill, and it's all up to just Casper here. Denies the flawless, but off the back of that timeout, Aura, they resurge and find a round.
Yep, they convert that timeout that they just had a while ago. Now on to a 7-10. Like I said, destroying that trip on mid, it might seem small, but it's actually huge for the team itself. You would see BOBA trying to adjust themselves and reposition themselves because now they have to carefully watch mid. And you've seen the impact that Grahams was able to do, especially once she got that shot towards mid and just backs off and backs away to help the rest of the team. And if this continues, it might be scary for BOBA. But then again, no operator this time, Zach.
Operator. I mean, when you have a showstopper, it's really kind of a weapon that might tend to hold you down. And I mean, economy not the greatest either, so just not enough money to really consider investing in it. That said, though, I think that the showstopper could still be a huge entryway into that retake. The problem is that Aura have one of their own, so I think it's going to be a case of most likely Sawamura using her own showstopper to maybe get their way onto site, especially to take care of the Cypher utility. You can kind of see the BOBA players ready for this exact outcome. A couple of players just hanging around here. Paranoia comes through, spray attempt at Baby TZ. Doesn't really connect with anything, and Goibi this time towards mid decides, alright, if the tripwire doesn't do the job, I will myself, and shuts down that lurk from Phi.
Someone's watching that now. Again, they're quite aware there's going to be a Cypher cam as well. Could probably hear it, but we go back to a mid-control default coming in from Aura here. A little bit of a damage towards Goibi. Still 80 HP. They still have that tripper as well, but they don't want to let this go away. Ayumi, on the other hand, good positioning, especially if they decide to push here. Good fault line to try to stop them on their toes. Showstopper, will it connect finally? Yes, the one! Another kill, and now with a triple, Ayumi shuts them down. Starry Bun left alone. No ult as well to pick up the spike. 13 seconds remaining. It's gonna be difficult. She gets one already, but then Baby TZ knows better. Goes for a trade and makes things a little bit more difficult for Aura.
It was a very anime-esque moment when both the races satcheled into each other, making eye contact, holding those showstoppers, and they both got really good value off of it. Like, All right, Ayumi gets one, Sawamura gets two. The problem is that Ayumi gets her gun out faster, and Ayumi is just a force of nature when you unleash her like that. Being able to shut down and find a triple towards main completely demolishes the attempt at that A split. And well, Tayrawr was able to TP on with her ultimate, like you mentioned. That means that there's no ultimate available to pick up that spike. And I think BOBA, we saw this in their previous games as well, along with Aura. Both these teams are very often you see them running down the timer here and them being forced into these situations where they have to get the plant with like 10 or 15 seconds left, and it never ends pretty.
First kill towards Phi. Quite huge, I would say. A lot of space to lurk around the map then for the side of BOBA. But they choose to just stay put. Chill out. We got this already. But so far, Aura's been trying to find answers on how to make a solution happen here on the map itself. They have to also make sure they pass through Ayumi and Aluka. One down and another to go for Grahams to get that trade-off. A 3v4, they dash in, but the flash is still there. They hold off a little bit longer. Again, having that double innie is paving their way so far, and they are forced to go back. No choice.
Yeah, just so much utility being expended to hold onto this A main control. And now they have so much space to re-clear as well. This crossfire is still into play, but Sawamura and Grahams, the double duelists, they do their job and they get a couple of kills, bringing it down to a 3v2. And again, the value of the sky just coming in huge here. That's that baby TZ goes 1 for 1. It's all up to Casper in the clutch. A 1v1 here. Spike gonna be dropped there. And Casper perfect for the clutch. Both kills found to set BOBA on match point on their map pick. 12-7 right now. That was an eco round for Aura, so they're gonna have a bye this time around. But my god, BOBA were just unrelenting this round. They were just keeping the pressure up on this team.
And they find value each and every time they swing as well. It started off with Ayumi getting a kill, especially with one player tagged. Phi, she set up a trip, or rather a cage here, but just didn't work out. She's tagged anyway. And with that, we start with our technical pause podcast. 12-7 here, Zach. Match point for BOBA. A little bit expected since this is their map pick as well, but we also do have to realize Aura is playing against a bunch of experienced players here, and they're up 7.
They are, and I mean, we talked about it, right? Aura was the underdog heading into the series, and them being able to put up such a show on BOBA's map pick is definitely a sign that this is a team that we can definitely expect a lot out of. I think that they're the player who is completely new to GC is the one who is stomping on that team. Grahams has never played an official Game Changers before, if I'm not wrong, and this is her first time, and she's already like slaying out here, so definitely really nice to watch. And I think I'm really looking forward to seeing how much further this team can go, because I think that they've proven that they are very, very good in terms of just improving after every single game and keeping themselves together. And 7-12 is no mean feat against a team like BOBA, because like our panel did mention, these are players who have been around for a long time, and we've seen them at some point or the other. In fact, I'm pretty sure that most of them have made every single elite since like 2022. So that's just a testament to what they're up against.
Definitely true. And with how things are going on here, especially for the attacking side, having that double innie setup on BOBA again helps a lot. Not only when it comes to playing the info from Kohaebi, but also you definitely see like the stopping potential, the stopping power from BOBA's side here, especially with a single fault line that catches 2 to 3 players from time to time that we've seen from all the rounds here so far, has been very impactful for the rest of the team. They're able to take up space because of Hunter's Fury, perhaps. And even if 2 players dash in, I mean, you have a Cypher tripwire here and there. But then again, if it's a flying jet, a flying raise, a TPing Omen inside the site, like, it's difficult to stop onto their stalls. And then you have that double innie to try cover that kind of hole scenarios.
Yeah, I think that BOBA are really finding full value with their double innie setup on this map. Like, I know Aluka only has 9 kills, but look at her assist, man. She has 14, and so many of the kills that the rest of the team got were off the back of her utility. Same with Casper. Like, sure, she might not be up there compared to Baby TZ or Ayumi, but in a lot of the rounds, the kills that she's getting, they're just such high impact. And in a clutch situation as well, she's been very, very dependable. So I think that this entire roster it was a. I know that they had very little time to practice together, despite them being very experienced players. And again, like from that day one to right now on the sunset, we are seeing like a little bit of adaptations, a considerable amount of improvements as well. I mean, the biggest takeaway is that in their game against Zipto, I think this team comp is specifically pioneered to combat that Cypher, and they struggled so much because they weren't really going up against the Cypher. Plus, of course, Zipto is just Zipto. They haven't lost a map yet. It's like a record thing for them, I guess.
True. I do agree with you, and also that with this first map that we've seen so far, it's not yet done, guys. It's not yet. First of all, since we are in a technical pause, I need chat's help for the time being, since my mind is a little... I can't make a decision yet so far. Chat, which team do you think will win it? Will Boba get this map and get the second, or will it be a 3-map scenario here that the panel has been talking about? So please do let us know, chat. Who or what team are you rooting for? Just type it in the comments. We want to see it. We're reading it right now. But Zach, with you, do you think that this would be reaching a map 3?
I mean, I think it could, mainly because map number 2 is Lotus. Like, I'm a person who goes by the stats, and I was on the panel for this one. And the fact that Aura Differential were able to find a 13-0 win in the top 4 is pretty crazy to me. So it is a very strong map for them. They have a perfect record on it so far. Yeah, so I'm definitely excited for the Lotus, and I think if they can continue to really perform well on that map like it happened throughout this entire tournament, it could go to that map 3. My only concern is that it's also a pretty decent map, I would say, for Boba. Like, yeah, sure. Aura got the 13-0 against Rima yesterday, but Boba got a 13-4 as well. So, you know, it's not as shiny as a 13-0, but it's still pretty nice.
I'm excited then, but nonetheless, this might be the last round, or we go for another one. Ask the questions that the players are bound to answer. Eurotef has been used here for the side of Aura. Enemies revealed, and they still have that space to go in on the side. They know exactly where Casper would be. They pick up on B and plant the spike right now. Graham's in a good position. She doesn't get to, but Ayumi for a trade. Now down to a 3v1.
Spike planted.
All up to her and Ayumi. I mean, we've seen her in the clutch positions before, but Aura aren't messing around either. They're just going for main, looking to take that 3v1 fight together instead of letting themselves really stack up. Ayumi does have her paint shells now, though, and there's a tripwire on the spike. So as long as she can deal with these hazards, she might have a chance at being able to win it out. But again, just the way Aura are playing, they're so disciplined about this, really not knowing that they can't afford to really let these things slip out of their hand. And also, they're worrying about the economy as well, since they weren't able to really buy heavily into this. That said, though, 3 players alive, 5 able to pick up an upgrade, and 8 to 12 here. Boba stay alive, and looking at Boba's opponents stay alive here, and Boba, this time they have the tools to end it with because they have all of these ultimates. So Aura have yet another obstacle to worry about in this next round.
Yeah, we were talking about the trades itself a while ago as well, and you could definitely see that once Kohaibi was pinned down, Aluka wanted to take a trade and maybe clear out the angle towards Styles, but unfortunately the shot just doesn't connect, and it went in Aura's favor. But look at this, a quick satchel in towards a main, a little bit of trying to scare Aura here into a position, but then they decide to instead push all the way to A. They still hold on to that showstopper here.
There's a equal round for the side of Boba and Aura, aware of it all, looking to take full advantage. Yeah, they're just pushing in through CD and going for these fights. Sawamura with another kill, although that is going to be traded back here. Graham's able to at least pick up that gun, possibly deny it from being picked up, or at least looking to deny it from being picked up. The flash doesn't quite connect, and Graham's with the Blade Storm as perfect as ever. Looking for a little bit more here. Casper finally shutting that down. Will be trying to get that gun, but Fi, again, the awareness from Aura. You said it, Tayrawr. It isn't over yet until it's over, and Aura definitely don't think it's over yet, because it's 9-12, and 3 more rounds will bring them to overtime, to that fighting shape on map number 1. The problem, again, is that there are so many ults for Boba to close it out with.
Yeah, definitely true. And Ayumi, in that split decision making of realizing, like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna save the showstopper on our buy round instead. Maybe that would be more impactful, especially you have a neural depth here, so it's very essential to know exactly where they're gonna be and then pop the ult there or the showstopper there, perhaps. But let's see how things turn out, especially here on a buy round coming in from BOBA. Can they actually punish Aura? Because it seems like they're getting up their momentum yet again.
Yeah, the last couple of rounds have been pretty convincing for them, so definitely feeling that in their favor. Looking to push mid right now, but Aluka is going to be the person to keep an eye on this. Just silent contact is going to be taken here, and Aluka spots it out, gets the information, takes a lot of damage though, and will be forced to fall back here to safer waters. Now that they have that information, it's going to be a repivot by Aura, possibly towards this B site here, where unfortunately there are still a couple of players hanging around, including that Cypher utility.
Look how deep Graham's is towards CT side of A, by the way. So if there's any rotations coming in from BOBA, they might not expect it, but Aluka already saw her there. Not quite sure how the positioning will go. The entry from Aura. They got tagged here. The paranoia actually perfect for them, but the flash cast just Casper down. Aura, 2-to-1 trade. Showstopper from Ayumi. Will we see it finally? They haven't planted the spike yet. The neural depth being set in place, set in stone, but the kill from Tayrawr perhaps will cancel out. And now in a 2v1 scenario, Graham's left all the way from A. She climbs back. A showstopper pulled out to make space. She gets the kill still. Koibi just sticking to the fuse right now. This might be the win. And BOBA secures game number 1.
What a way to win it out here. Ayumi towards the end just being an absolute hero for the team, being able to pop up and find all of those kills onto site. Of course, Koibi. Of course, Koibi drinks boba. I'm not even surprised at this point. Like, well deserved. I know that all of these girls do love boba tea. Personally, I don't understand the appeal of tapioca pearls, but I'm just a hater in a lot of things that other people
exactly.
like. So,
at least you have self-awareness here, Zahk.
Thank you. Yes, look, I admit it. It's not my thing, okay? I'm a classic person. I like my filtered coffee. I like my French press. I don't like people putting weird things in my drinks. But if you like it, good for you. And I'm pretty sure that BOBA likes it, especially after a win like that. That final round was just ballistic coming out of Ayumi. The paint shell kill, the showstopper missed, I think, but everything else did connect, including the headshot. So really, really great round. A little bit of overcooking towards the end and that post plant by Aura, but very impressive map overall. I mean, we could keep yapping about it, but I think our audience has heard enough of it. So let's throw it back to our lovely panels to see what they have to say.
A very close back and forth, and finally to a comeback. That is what we saw just now from Team BOBA, taking a very convincing Sunset map. Now, it was a very interesting one because honestly, big kudos to Aura Differential for not only doing their homework, but also being able to counter-strat so many of their set plays.
Yeah, but I wanted to start with why BOBA was able to start with such a huge lead on the second half. I think it mostly came down to that Baby TZ's camera in B, because we rarely saw it being broken down, and when they were ahead of. There was not enough action taken by Aura to break that camera, and with all the info that Baby TZ was able to gather, BOBA was just, they got the upper hand in terms of the info and the rotations that they can take. But I was impressed with the adaptations that Aura were able to make after that timeout, especially. Graham's just doing so much, getting that mid control as well. And as soon as she was able to find a pick, we had the 4 players in A who were able to spit things up, and Ray's just going deeper into the site with their satchels. These adaptation and the unpredictable plays worked in Aura's favor, which is something they're really good at, but it just wasn't quite enough.
Yeah, when you look at BOBA coming through, I mean, I'm not surprised to see Ayumi really pop up. Her raise has been particularly impressive. Now, in this game in particular, I think that for both teams, it's been massive, especially in the first half. Especially for Aura Differential defense, I really like Starry Buns playing one way. And they have this, I would say, this set places where they have a certain player already taking care of that area. Starry Bun has been in charge of market, and what she does is every time she sees pressure to a market, she plays on top of the middle island end where she drops a one-way smoke and just completely sprays down anyone trying to push through. It's a lot of pressure onto that choke, and she's able to do that because it's such a small area to flood through. Now, Sawamura and Graham in particular, I think has been very exciting for me because both, it's a very interesting because Sawamura is always holding out main, and she's always there for that really quick first contact sort of plays coming through. And Graham, this is a very interesting one. A lurking jet on defense is what she brings to the table, and she's been getting a lot of information based on the mid side. So it's been really good for them to really just choke and just crunch the members of BOBA on the attack side, and while they were on defense. Now, coming into the second half, what really helped them honestly was the retakes from BOBA. It was just a really quick flood and very oppressive from different parts of the map, and it's so quick to the point that we aren't getting to see or differential being able to prep for that post plant holds and positioning. They have to be really quick about it. But regardless of those, I think for each round has been down to like a 1v1 or 1v2.
Yeah.
It's very, very close between both teams. Now, I think my highlight of this particular map was round number 16, where we saw Baby TZ isolating a perfect 1v3 toward the elbow side or the alley side of A side, and because she was playing that corner so well, she's able to isolate that 1v3, and then it turned into an ace. So honestly, it really shows the prowess of what Baby TZ can do when it comes to anchoring a site and playing in terms of firepower as well.
Yeah, but just looking at this, I just keep wondering, and it's just, I feel that lack of breach for Aura. Because often they have to take contact plays, relying so much on Sawamura opening up the angles, and if it doesn't work well, then they're in trouble. And even in their bonus round, as you mentioned, Jet and Raze did not have enough support. I felt like, and it was just so easy for BOBA just to wait for them to jump into their crosshair, which was done perfectly by Baby TZ.
Yeah, when it comes to like that hold, I think this is what BOBA has a little bit more in terms of their experience in competing. They're a little bit less, they don't have to be as aggressive. They're okay to play the patient game. I mean, we saw that pistol clutch from Ayumi as well. She played by Aluka, where she was just holding instead of being able to push or just repositioning herself. And it's a very, and this kind of stuff, this trigger discipline and stuff only comes over time. And I think we'll be able to see more of this because for the side of Aura Differential, basically they have everything down pat. The aggression is there, the repositions are there, the aims are there. Perhaps a little bit more experience is definitely needed. And I think that what's really great about it is the fact that for Aura Differential, and they've been really putting a lot of that pressure onto the mid side. But that I would say that reposition or the readaptation by the members of BOBA was to play a little bit more safe and make them push toward the side itself and play off that information. And that is truly countering and just punishing these late lurks have been huge. Now, Ayumi getting MVP, not surprising here. 1.9 KD means it's almost 2 kills per round. And on top of that, while we're not seeing the insane headshot percentage that we saw from like Bless, from like Graham's, from like Kohaibi, what she brings to the table is that aggression, that space taking. Even though her showstoppers sometimes does do it to Rosa, the value that you can get to whenever she pops it and everyone just leaving the site, that space she can get is already massive. Regardless, we are now on a 1-0. Whether or not Aura Differential will be bringing it back on the next map, which is going to be Lotus, is the question we'll be asking now. So we're going to go for a quick break. After this, more Valorant Game Changers Southeast Asia.
Bienvenidos a Madrid. Eso no. We are here. Let's go. No confiaron, pero míralo. Llego con los míos y la grada explota. Le di la razón al que me quiso ver bien. Lo soñé en mi habitación y ahora en primera me ven. No te hablo del avión. Vine por mi cinturón. Voy a hacer que recuerde mi nombre. No me importa cuándo ni dónde. Yo por esto la sufrí y aposté por mí como el doble. Yo no sé lo que es perder desde el 2000 y pico. Y si fallo, detrás tengo a mi equipo. No confiaron, pero míralo. Llego con los míos y la grada explota.
While all eyes were already thinking it was going to be a very landslide win for BOBA on map number 1 Sunset, that definitely wasn't the case as we ended the first map on a very close one for every single round. Tashbunny, your host today alongside Jen, our analyst, and we are here at the Valorant Game Changers C 2024. Now, BOBA and Aura differential really given us such a fun first map to watch, and now we have to move on to Lotus.
Lotus is interesting because, as we mentioned in our pre-show, for BOBA, I didn't really see much of their comps except for, maybe they played twice. And it's just that, maybe we get that triple duelist with the Neon. I would love to see that. But it's just such a strong map for Aura too. And I feel like Aura is feeling pretty good about heading into this map.
Yeah, given the fact that yesterday they were playing this map against Rima and going 13-0 on that map, perhaps this might be the momentum they need to move forward. Now, coming into that map yesterday, it was a very interesting one to say the least, because not only did they not drop a single round, the rounds were also very, very dominating, despite the fact that we had Bless, who is just so sharp with that particular map when it comes to those headshot percentages. Now, BOBA is something that we have a little bit of a question mark for this map, because the only times they played Lotus was twice, and once against Rima and the other against Stellar Nebula. And let's talk a little bit more about their matches against Rima for this one, because I think it's the second time they're going. It's the first time they went on this map. And Rima, I think it can be a benchmark, because Rima really gave our differential a run for their money yesterday on 2 maps. But coming into the third one for Lotus was the one they said they weren't really prepared for, but they still managed to steal 4 rounds away from BOBA, compared to, that 0 rounds away from Aura differential, right?
Yeah, but I don't really know how much effort BOBA was putting into that one. Because especially because stakes are a lot more higher. I could say this time around. But yeah, definitely 13-4 by BOBA when they faced Rima, and that was with the single duelist comp with Raze.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if they go through this again. Baby TZ's chamber has been very, very oppressive the last time we saw her play it, and I wouldn't be surprised if she were to bring it here again. Now, not surprising about Casper on Omen. I mean, last year I think it was the year that we saw her a lot on that Astra, and I'm glad that she's kind of like shifted to a more aggressive, smoke. And I'm really excited, if say Clove comes back very, very soon into the play, because I can actually see Casper actually playing that agent very well. But enough about that. I really like their comp comp. It's a very oppressive one. Aluka has been massive on that reach, honestly, because how they play it is very interesting. It's not really this sort of like stun, flash, or just swing out. It's that, you know, like just now, I think in the previous map of Sunset, I think it's a particular round, you saw how Baby TZ took up space with her cage. She put her camera out, her camera tagged someone, and then off that tag, Aluka moved with that stun out. That was very, very smart. So I'm really excited to see if Aluka and Baby TZ will be able to do more of these very interesting, creative, fun sort of takes as well without their teammates. Because coming into this one, this single duelist, Ayumi as the Rays, I mean, we know what she can bring to the table as a duelist as well, and Kohabi moving to that Gecko as well. So I'm really curious to see how exactly they're planning on doing that, because this one per se, I mean, the only person that can be a lurk in particular, or rather the Sentinel, is going to be Baby TZ. Personally, for me on this map, I still prefer that Killjoy, because that Killjoy gives a little bit more extra value when it comes to watching choke points, rotations, and making sure that you're not going to get flanked. But for Baby TZ, what she can do is she can drop that trap, that trip all the way in the back, and perhaps go forward, help her teammates, and then hold a longer, I would say, angle to watch those flanks, because Tour de Force and Headhunter is definitely something she can utilize.
For me, what pops into my mind is that just because our differential had an immaculate, flawless game yesterday, BOBA, on the side of BOBA, it's like hard for them to figure out or counter-strat their weaknesses, right? So adaptations will be super important. Do you feel like they're going to have no problem kind of adapting and making those adjustments on the fly?
Personally, for me, I think BOBA is going to take a few rounds to really understand. Yes, of course, there are VODs around to really show what Aura Differential can do on this map. They did play this quite a few times throughout this tournament. And yesterday, 13-0, it's really hard to gauge what exactly went wrong, what the adjustments are going to be, the protocols that need to be done. So I think, if anything, yes, well, I think it's going to be harder on Aura Differential to really figure out BOBA because of the lack of VODs around.
Yeah.
But for Aura Differential, and for BOBA on the other hand, it's more of like, okay, we know how your strats work, we know how you do your takes, but they didn't see much about what they can expect on the defensive half.
That's a very good point. But speaking of unknown and not having enough thoughts, let's go back to Clove. Because we will be seeing them very soon. But which maps do you think would be super good for them? Are you expecting to see them on Lotus?
Personally, I'm really excited for Clove. I think she might be an agent that might be taking over Omen's spot, because right now I think one of the most popular smokers is Omen, and I think he's definitely used in a lot of maps. So it would be you could definitely see. I mean, we've seen a lot of aggressive Omen plays from Tens, especially how he likes to play those aggressive teleports, play right in your face, especially after the paranoia. I wouldn't be surprised if something very similar is done with Clove. Regardless, we're going to go straight into the agent selection, and I'm really excited for this one because I want to see what the adaptations are being done for both these teams. The last time we saw Aura Differential play, it was Graham's on that Sky, and Graham's was the one who apparently, according to her teammates, was the one who carried. And this time around,
we're getting a fade.
We're getting a fade. Honestly, I prefer that fade over the Sky because the clear potential they can get from the Haunt. The Haunt does have a cooldown, which means they can do it. They can use it at least twice in every single round, and it will be very, very crucial for that re-clear on Mound as well as Rubble in order to take up that space. Because every time teams would try to fight for that A Rubble space there, and once you manage to get it, you're not too sure whether or not they're going to push up or not. So that's where the fade comes through to re-clear with the Haunt, and then you can go aggressive once again to retake that area.
Yeah, so just to clarify, it's Kohavi moving off of Gecko, passing it on to Aluka, and then taking on that fade role. I'm excited to see what they can do. Not much difference. Of course, not many changes to our differential, if not at all. Yeah, is this going to be super impressive and super aggressive? Yes, I believe, right?
I mean, for both these teams, aggression is the name of the game. I mean, but I think aggression, the most aggressive I have ever seen will be from Aura Differential. Sawamura as well as Graham's, they're two, I mean, Sawamura, they're duelists, they're star duelists. With Graham's, their flex is gonna be what I'm gonna be keeping my eye on in this particular round. Yesterday, Graham's was set to be the carry for the team. Let's see if today we're not gonna be seeing that, but more of a clear-cut team play to come through. So I'm not too sure if our casters are ready. I think they are. So let's toss it over to them, to Tay and Zach. On to you guys.
Thank you so much for that eloquent breakdown, Tash and Jen. So, of course, I think the first thing we gotta touch upon here is the team comp changes that are coming in for BOBA. Because I think that we did see, like Tash mentioned, we're seeing Kohaibi move over a little bit from that Gecko to the Fade. But what's interesting to me is they made two major changes. They had that double initiator coming in form of that Gecko and that Fade. And they also have pivoted from that Chamber over to that Killjoy, which is more of a meta pick for this map.
Yeah, definitely true. I mean, we've seen a lot of teams try out the Chamber. Again, it's also a hit and miss, especially if your Chamber isn't popping off as well. But I do think shifting towards that double ini kind of scenario for the side of BOBA has been working out greatly as well, since we've seen the first map itself as well. So that says already a lot. But then again, you also have the double smoke from Aura Differential. You have to pass through the walls or a Viper Orb coming in from Phi, and then you have an Omen smoking you off as well. So that's also a pick that I do like. Both picks I truly enjoy, honestly.
I think that it's double controller versus
It's about
double
the
initiator,
execution.
Yeah, information versus execution and how you're going to be playing it. I'm going to be excited to see how they're going to be really pivoting this kit. Early Viper's Orb to take control here towards A main. And oh my god, Ayumi is taking so much space for free. Using the opponent's Viper Smoke to scale up so aggressively, so quickly. I don't know if they expect this. It seems like they do, though. The Paranoia there. And Tess perfect with the shot. A double kill for her, already forcing Aluka to fall back to safety.
They really did their homework there. Such a good paranoia to shut down anyone who's very close. And that was Ayumi, especially with the frenzy as well, could burst you down quite quickly. Now they've taken a side control here. BOBA is gonna try to actually punish before you even plant the spike, and that they do as they all swing out, tries to catch 3, and now in a 2v1, it's all up to 5. The spike planted, 22 HP on both, but they still have Little Guy. Wingman diffuses the spike, and that created that space for the defuse and the kill.
Yeah, I'm a little bit sad we didn't see a close-up of Wingman defusing the spike. Hopefully we can get a little bit more of that in the future, because I'm just an average Wingman enjoyer. I actually have one on my desk to match you now, Tay. But that said, like you mentioned, really good, very fast retake attempt to come out. They know that they have an advantage while that spike is getting planted. They find safety in numbers, and yes, while I think that it does come down to 1v2 at the end with both players low, just in terms of positioning, and despite being low, the lack of fear in Aluka to be able to take those fights is really going to set up BOBA for success. Halfway there to the top already. This could be a huge ult to have ready in that bonus round. And talking about this anti-eco here, that's a double outlaw that we're seeing from Baby TZ and Ayumi.
I do like the reaction as well coming in from BOBA to fight it off, but look at this. An outlaw yet again in the hands of Baby TZ. Not good for the first shot, but the second one will definitely connect. Aluka holding down the fort for the team. Successfully takes one down. They know that it's a tight corner onto B main. The spike has been dropped. Lots of utilities being thrown. A Prowler also confirms they're still there.
Going to be some valuable information, and this outlaw, it's still being a menace towards this particular side. Casper now catching the pivot over towards the opposite side instead, and in the meantime, Aluka trying to go in for the pickup onto the Gecko utility. Does get taken down. Tess making her pay the price here with the share of 3v4 situation right now, and once again, this attempt at a pivot towards B. There is a Bulldog that they could possibly pick up here. They're gonna have to deal with the Outlaw though, and so far at least, it seems like Baby TZ just has no mercy for enemies. 2v4 situation. One of the players looking so low here, and Glivey is gonna just push past the Nanostorm. They know exactly where Tess is, and well, Tess tries her best, manages to take the armor off of Casper. It's still gonna be an anti-eco confirmed here for BOBA, and they only lose a Bulldog in the process.
I mean, you have a double smoke setup, but if your enemies keep on just disrespecting these smokes, you've seen the reposition coming in from Kohaibi after that smoke was set upon them. And again, they do have those angles to take anyway, especially when everyone gets stuck onto B main. It's such a tight, close encounter when you have players around that area. A 2-0 so far for BOBA. And they still have a double outlaw in their hands as well. This has to hurt.
It could be really difficult here, but the nice thing is that at least for Aura, they have the kit to try and deal with these outlaws. Bram's already finding an early kill onto Casper here. forcing Baby TZ to play in this corner with an outlaw, especially with a Sky Trailblazer in your face and a flash. Not going to be an easy thing to pull up, and Tayrawr takes full advantage of this to be able to confirm that kill. 3v5 situation, Spike making its way onto site, does get the plant baited out, hoping for maybe another aggressive push here, and it works. Alika baited out of the corner, and now it's just 2 players left alive for BOBA in this anti-eco here. How much value can they really find? The barrel spotted out by Yuumi, but again, aware of the outlaw, the danger. Nobody from Aura is really going to be peeking.
Oh, they move further back, especially Graham's very low on the HP. They also re-smoke CT as well. Gonna be a hard take, like you said, plus a nano swarm. It's like no one has to pass through, or no one can even pass through this. And they might just probably go off from the spike here and get those exit frags ready, just in case there's anyone trying to push in. But look at this. Just for Aura, it's more about making things clearer, make a flawless or a clean round for yourself, save up the Vandals as well, to make sure you still have everyone or every assault rifle you could ever have for the next following round.
I really like this play from Ayumi where she saves the outlaw, because it's going to set her up to get that operator in these further rounds. And like you mentioned there, Tay, I think that for Aura Differential, it's going to be super cool that they managed to save all 5 of their rifles, because it's really going to put them in a really good situation for economy. That said, the full first buy versus buy round that we're really seeing here from both of these teams, ultimate-wise, Thrash is ready to go. A 3rd round Thrash available for Alika here. And I think that this ultimate could be huge in that retake attempt. Assuming that BOBA are even going to let that be a retake attempt, because look at this, 3 players trying to aggressively hold down a main here. Sawamura with that satchel will be able to push them back at least a little bit in conjunction with that Fade utility, but they still have to try and break apart this crossfire.
No contention so far coming in from BOBA here, but Ayumi already punished. That Allo is going away already as the trash being pulled out. They're going to be stuck. Ohaibi gets one, but a good trade coming in from Grahams as well. Fi still electrified by that trash, but oh my god, Casper got the shot to our death anyway. A 3v2 scenario with Grahams very low in HP. They still managed to plant the spike. Can they hold the post plant?
That's the question here. No ultimates available in this retake. It's all going to be a question of timing. Baby TC pushing her way onto site, actually getting the kill. Spam through the smoke as well, and Casper, the awareness will be enough to shut down Fi here. Really nice 2v4 retake. I think Casper being able to catch Test there, trying to flank, was huge, which immediately reduced the pressure of worrying about that flank, and they knew that the remaining 3 players were site. Very, very methodical retake. And again, you know, one thing I gotta highlight today is that Casper's paranoias have been on point. Like, every single time you can see the impact that they're having.
That's what I was exactly gonna say. It's like you read my mind. From game number 1 up until here in game number 2, that paranoia has been impactful for the side of BOBA, especially on those retake scenarios. Time and time again, she proves, like you said, Zach, she's one of the best Omen players out there, or maybe even a controller player out here. One-way smoke through C. Little bit of a stop towards Aura, but they're still willing to push a little bit further. Casper repositions herself. They have that turret as well for a first contact. They're just waiting.
Yeah, but again, there's just this Trailblazer, this Boombot, all of this available to try and play off. And I like that, like you mentioned, Casper's playing contact off the back of this turret. In the meantime, the main control has been completely taken here by BOBA. So they know for a fact that most of these players are going to be around this B and C site for the most part. And if any of them try to rotate, they're going to be walking right into this flank coming out of BOBA. You can see them clearing out B methodically as well. Timing on the door opening is perfect for Ayumi to take down Sawamura with a clean headshot. That's going to be first blood going in favor of BOBA here. And while the Seekers are invested to try and clear the space, they're not going to really get much out of it.
It's like playing hide and seek when it comes to this map. The door opens, someone peeks, but I really do like the positioning here of Alika and Ayumi. The duo, the combo that they possibly have. They open the door yet again, but it seems like it's going to be that beat take. A flash settling in, a mosh being placed upon them as well, canceling the entry towards the side. Plus, Aluka still holding down A-Link here as one player holding C-Link. This is going to be Aura taking the side, planting the spike. A 3v2 scenario. Anything can happen here, Zach.
You should indeed, but look at what Tess has. She does have that lockdown available for a dicey situation. It's going to be investing it in fact, and the question is whether these defenders are going to respect it or not. Maybe TC tries to get half the stick here, but Graham's off the back of that pressure coming in from that lockdown will be able to swing from heaven and get a double kill for herself. Really, really nice round coming out of Aura. I think Tess was the hero of that one. Being able to pick up that double kill was what really opened up that B side for business here, because Boba just had so much control before that. So I think it was a good adaptation to come out of Aura. Despite them losing control, despite them being put in a rough spot, they really didn't panic there, and they managed to come out on top. And not only that, they break the economy here for Boba.
Players also aligning in front of Graham's, and she easily takes the double kill here for that post-plant setup. We do have a technical pause. I mean, is it really Southeast Asia without it, right? In any place, time, whatever it is. But nonetheless, 3-2 for the scoreline so far. And for now, Boba is going to be forced into an economy that's not too great for them as they hold on to the Sheriffs. But we've seen them pop off with the Sheriffs anyway. Ayumi has been clean on the shots that she have taken as well. So especially if you get a thrifty round against a team here who's on a full buy, that impacts a lot of the rounds that we are going to be looking at anyway. But nonetheless, Aura, when it comes to that economy, it's been looking great. It's been looking good. And, you know, like you've mentioned as well, the kills coming in from Tess and Graham's has been pivotal as well for winning those post-plant scenarios that we've seen.
Yeah, I think that Tess yesterday as well, she was really, really impactful on the Killjoy on this map, and personally, I really like the way that she and Graham's like find so much value for the team, because Graham's in particular, it's not just that she's finding these headshots, which she is, it's also that she's really just being able to buff up her team so much in these rounds, playing that Sky. You could see like so many of these rounds, Sawamura or Starrybud or even Fire or Tess would be like low because they took that fight, they took that contact, they got a kill or two, maybe they come back and boop, back to 100 HP and back in fighting shape. And I think that Boba, a lot of these rounds, they are at a little bit of a lower HP in the fights that they take in that retake attempt. And sometimes it works out because they have the numbers or they have the positioning, and sometimes it doesn't, just because of Aura having more HP and more resources to work with. That said, though, I think Boba, they're going to be happy to take that lockdown out of play because it means there's no counter available for their own, which could come online in this round. And I think that there are some really great retake ults for Boba in the form of that lockdown as well as that Nightfall coming out of the Fade, because I don't know if they're necessarily going to use them in this next round, seeing it's an eco, but I think that they both could be incredibly powerful either way in just clearing out the side, especially on Lotus, because that lockdown, it just forces you completely out of the side, and there's no counter really available to it from either of these players.
I do think if the opportunity arises, Boba wouldn't think twice as well. I mean, again, getting thrifty rounds here is basically stealing money away from your opponents as well. So you have to do what you have to do, especially if the opportunity or the odds are definitely on your side as a team. So it really depends on what the situation or what will occur when it comes to this round, especially if they can get pickoffs coming in from this Sheriffs as well. So with that, Aura, this is their map pick anyway. Probably the most comfortable map that they're playing at as well. Like you mentioned a while ago, it was a 13-0 the last time we've seen them in this map. And so far, no 13-0s for today. But again, it's a lower bracket finals. After you win this, you're going to go to the grand finals going up against Sipto.
Yeah, I think 13-0 in lower finals would be very egregious. I don't think even SMG pulled that off last year. I don't think they got a couple of 13-0s in like the opening games or like the second game, but I don't think they ever got a 13-0 in like a lower final or something. So that will be certainly a feat to pull off if it does come down to that on that map 3. But like you mentioned on this map number 2, it's that tug of war between both of these teams who are pretty competent at this map themselves. So I think that Aura, of course, like we keep talking about, it is their best map and they're definitely putting up a fight on it. That said, the Boba, I feel like I think that because they're changing their team comp, they look a little bit less aggressive than they used to. Hear me out here. I know that it doesn't look that way because Ayumi keeps pushing A main and she's very successful at it. But when Baby TC was on that chamber, they were playing a little bit more aggressively towards C as well. So there was always an additional bit of pressure that they could face. And now having more of this anchor sentinel for Baby TC, she hasn't been as aggressive as we're used to seeing her. And I think that that could be a reason why BOBA is comparatively, at least compared to the last time we saw them playing on this map, they're looking a little bit more scrappy.
Does feel like they want to play for a retake scenario here, despite having those sheriffs in as well. Or on the other hand, on the other point, already inside B. Turret shows that as well. They got info. They hold off B main. They want to just shower in onto the side, but Starry Bun catches them as well. Now with 2 players down, it's up to Aluka, Yumi, and Kohaibi to make something out of nothing. Graham's just holding down position here. It looks like Aura's locked in when it comes to the post plant.
Yeah, they're not messing around at all. 5v3, like you said, and you can see how disciplined they are. Everyone watching one lane, not really wanting to give away these free fights. And it's this crossfire between Sawamura and Grahams that finds these first 2 kills. Ayumi now in a 1v5, sheriff in hand. Best call here seems to just be to go down to the spike, and that is what she is indeed trying to do here. Not even looking for these exits at this point. And once again, it's going to be a flawless round here, basically to come out of Aura. Going to be able to save all 5 guns, which is really going to help their economy, because it was kind of on its last legs after the last round that they lost. But this time around, they're able to at least equate things here 3-3 and really build up their economy. And if they can win this next one, it's really going to start their momentum.
Oh my god. Still such a close, a very, very close fight rounds that we've been seeing here. I mean, you see exactly what the game plan is here for BOBA, but they didn't expect that there's still gonna be one lurking out and trying to go pinch towards B main. And that was Starry Bun at the right moment, at the right time as well to clear out the angle. And that just made it a lot easier for Aura to hold down the position itself. But here we are on a buy round with BOBA. And like you said and mentioned, lockdown available as well as the Nightfall.
Really good retake goals. We might see them coming in, and it does seem like BOBA are playing for this retake setup. Look at how far back they're positioned towards the CT. We are looking at a C split here, I think, looking at the push coming in, but Ayumi takes that first contact off the back of that Nightfall, swings with Casper, and it's going to be a triple kill that they're rewarded with. Grahams and Testo, they're on the flank, they're on the prowl here. Ayumi shuts them down though. Both kills for her, and BOBA, they get a 4th round on the board, retaking the lead. Really nice play on to see the combination of that double swing along with that Nightfall to shut down noise, cause a little bit more pandemonium off the back of this first kill. Excellent work.
And I think the paranoia also connected to Tess at this point. She was not able to peek at all to try and get a trade or make something happen out there, especially with the Nightfall being set upon them. But I do think that they know that this was gonna happen as well. Like, they've been saving up that utility since a while ago, but they also do still have that lockdown that wasn't used at all. Quick kills that we've been seeing from BOBA's side, but again, back to the disciplined play, just holding positions down, making sure they know exactly where the players of Aura might be.
It's just information. When you have this double initiator, you can kind of afford to do that. This time around, though, no real aggression on A main coming out of BOBA, like we talked about, just them playing for this retake. Showstopper invested by Sawamura here to clear out the side. The Seeker's going to show there's nobody really hanging around towards Cave here, and that everybody else is quite far back. To Sawamura trying to push into CT with his ultimate. Not really going to find anything for it, but has taken a lot of space off the side. So we're looking at a full 5-on-5 retake here. There is that lockdown available, immediately going to be popped, and it's just one off of the Gecko ult as well for Aluka. So definitely a lot of bounty. All of these players going to be pushed into tree here. And I like the discipline coming out of BOBA, not really letting themselves get in a hasty position. Clear coming in, but Sawamura's already back onto site. First kill for her, second as well. She's just playing turret, human turret on the side at this point. Casper and Clivey finally strike back. Grams and 5 find the trade, and Starryban with that final swing around to get that last kill to bring Aura back up to 4. You know, we were talking about how BOBA were playing for the retake. It seems like Aura expected that, and they were ready to swoop back in.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. They are probably expecting the barrage of utilities coming in their way. And Tree is such a clear position as well. They didn't re-smoke it. They haven't put, or they didn't put any utility play out there. Paint shells maybe, but none of that at all. And that just allowed Zamora to just push in on the site and get the site back away from BOBA here. Brand new round, but then left with only sheriffs and one with the Vandal.
Hero Vandal, like you said, for Kohibi, having to do all the heavy lifting. We're back to our aggressive ways here, our BOBA, and they push all the way forward. They do catch out Fi on the lurk, but Fi very wisely, expecting more than one player, as usually is the case. It's going to be taking a step back, and while it does seem like BOBA, they've gone for a gamble stack here towards A and B. The spike itself is headed towards C, so I think the rotation, it's going to have to be imminent, and I really don't fancy these 5v5 equal retakes here. Sawamura once again taking up that space completely for free this time around. Doesn't even need to it doesn't even need a showstopper, rather, and it's just once again a 5v5 retake. But this time around, in terms of control, there's just so much available here for Aura, and they look to continue extending. Look at them go.
Oh, it's such a good paranoia. Unfortunately, they don't really have that gun firepower, but Kohibi has one, and they got surprised. A triple kill for her. They were going pretty aggressive on that, not knowing Kohibi has the Vandal itself. Will she be able to get one more? Trash being set right now on the site itself, trying to find anyone possibly, but no one really to find. They still have the Viper's Pit to go through as well, with Kohibi very low on the HP. They have to push through. They have to pincer through, but it's going to be Starry Bonus the first contact here. If any time, they actually push in already. They have to fight this now. Aluka goes down, but Kohibi, one more kill for her before Fi finally shuts her down, tucks her away. 5-4. My God, Zach, that round.
Yeah, the Hero Vandal just absolutely being a hero there. If Kohibi had gotten that ace clutch, I would have screamed, I swear, but just a little bit unlucky. That Viper's Pit was invested a little bit late into the round. I don't think it was gonna be put down immediately, but I think it's Kohibi finding this triple, and after that, you can see Starryman just being like, nope, I'm not peeking anymore. I'll hold the crossfire with you. I'll buy you time. And Kohibi does her best, gets the 4K, but not able to find ace. And off the back of that loss, it's going to be the timeout coming out for BOBA. They have a full buy kicking in. They have some ultimates charging up, including their showstopper that's ready to go for a Yui. And the one thing I would really like for them, like to see them doing rather, is to invest in that operator as soon as possible, because I feel like they're missing out on a lot of value that they usually find. Like, we saw how much maybe TC or a Yumi could do on that previous map. So I'm hoping that we see a little bit more of it coming in.
And the rounds are going by with our eyes right in front, sticking to the screen as well. And like you said, this is also the opportunity to really pull out that operator setup possibly. But it can also mean that BOBA is really going for aggressive ways here as well. We haven't seen much of that. It's a push and pull of being disciplined on waiting on the site itself, and then there are times or changing up the pacing where they try to punish a main, and I think that's exactly what they're gonna do right now here as they try to set it up. Sees Pagel combo, not gonna catch anyone. Aura knows better.
Remains to be seen here. Ayumi once again just completely disrespecting this poison orb. She does not care, wanting to go forward. Does have the showstopper, and you can see Aura just the default to come through here, not really wanting to overplay their hand, going for these fast heavy takes that we saw yesterday. It's more of them just trying to bait out utility from BOBA, trying to bait out these players into pushing. And this time around, ooh, I don't think Graham saw Kohibi, but Kohibi did see Graham's. That's going to be a perfect kill. The headshot coming through, and I don't know if they're going to be extending even further. It looks like they are here. Beautiful Nightfall catches out Fi. Going to be blinded here by first that Prowler, and now a Dizzy to come through as well as they desperately try to isolate the fight. The counter utility spam though is going to push them back, and they are going to be happy knowing that they've taken care of one of the biggest menaces in their way, Graham's.
I think they expected that. The retaliation, the use of paranoia. eliminating that is already huge since Aura hasn't taken a side here. Now they go, or they have to go dry peaks, but then Casper is right around the corner, wrapping around. She gets one more through the wall, and now Fi to shut her down. Ayumi still available on that showstopper as well. This might be huge for the retake that they're about to do, as Fi and Starry already setting up for their post plans itself. Two satchels still available, but will they even need it? And now, as the showstopper goes out, Fi will also fall.
I think Fi was trying to go for some trigger discipline there. Like, you didn't even see her going
nope.
towards Ayumi, but Ayumi just goes for the 360 while you're in the satchel. A nice view of the seaside and catches the final player in the face with the showstopper. Really, really nice retake. I agree with you there. I wasn't sure if the showstopper was necessary, but it's always a good morale boost when you hit one. So,
There.
really
I mean,
good work out of
around
Boba
is
there.
around, right? You want to
Exactly.
make sure you get the round itself. I
We've
mean,
seen too many 1v3s.
yeah, exactly. If Casper can get 2 kills out of lane here or out of elbow here, anything is possible at this point. They want to make sure, double down on that and make sure things are flawless, especially if they lose on that round again. They're not going to have much money. But Sawamura has a showstopper herself. Good flash on them.
Beautiful.
Hunt destroyed. No info at all. They move further back.
Yeah, a really huge kill to know that Ayumi has been pushing this so far. They've been letting her do it, and this time around they completely surprise her in the face with a flash and are able to confirm that kill. Sawamura now equipped with a showstopper of her own here to try and push forward onto site. Gonna be popped immediately, in fact, and I'm not sure how much she's gonna really find with it, but she uses it to get that height, find that kill onto Casper just through the smoke, knowing that's exactly where she is. Graham's chiming in with one of her own here, and there's pressure towards B as well. Just being able to catch out Baby TC completely off guard and find that kill. It's gonna leave Kohabi in a 1v5.
Spike
Such
planted.
an expensive way to jump peak there, Capricious, but it works, it works. Still managed to pick up all the kills almost. It's just Kohabi setting up the trap here. She knows! She gets the
No
triple
way.
kill even! 1v2 right now. A bigger chance for the side of Boba to make this retake happen. She has no clue where the other players might be. They're waiting on her, actually. It's a double peak for them. They get the kill now. 6-5. Double down. Bring trouble.
Last round in the
Tayrawr
half.
retake the
That
lead
was
once
too
again.
close.
This half has been so back and forth, and yeah, for a second, again, it's Kohabi in a 1v5. I feel like if there ever is somebody who could do it, it's Kohabi, and she does get these first 3, losing just about half of range. Really, really nicely. A nice attempt at her to reduce the economy, but at this point, I think that Orange just have a lot of money to work with for days. So this final round, I think we should be having a very good buy for them. I don't know if you can say the same, unfortunately, for Boba though, because of how back and forth these rounds have been. And yeah, look at that. It's just devastating here. Casper forced with only a Sheriff. Kohabi with just a Spectre in hand, and once again Ayumi looking to get aggressive with the help of this paint shells. This time around though has learned her lesson, has gotten punished last time. Gonna be advancing a little bit further with teammates, and that Trailblazer and Haunt in conjunction, they get a lot of information here. Alka though left isolated alone, caught by the Molly, still able to get a kill. Absolutely crazy, and that's the paranoia as well to let her push further, cause even more damage. The crunch is coming in, and now it's just
I've still managed to get those kills in as well. And now they still know, heavily aware, the remaining players from Aura still towards that side. 6-6 as we close off the first
Switching
half
sides.
here, Zach. It's been a hot minute since we've seen the game number 1. It was also a 6-6. But man, this is too close.
Yo, generally speaking, I have no idea how Orca lives that. Like, what is that? 2 mollies, a flash, a bunch of other stuff thrown in her face, and she's still doing fine. She gets a double kill on top of it and comes back alive. So I think this final flawless round is going to be really good for Boba to reset here before they go onto their attacking side. But before that, let's see what our panel has to say about this very, very tumultuous first half.
Very tumultuous indeed. Another 6-6 half here on the second map between BOBA as well as Aura differential. Now, in this particular map, I am definitely so excited to watch this because both teams, not only are they very aggressive, but both have very, very different styles of play. Now, I don't think this aggression will be stopping from the side of Aura differential. Sawamura has been massive with that first picks. It's just so huge how she's able to just go in for the early picks, push out forward, and once she heats up, she not only buys up space, but also so much time and picks off the members of BOBA. But on the other side, when you look at the members of BOBA, they are definitely a team that has a lot of mechanics, very surgical. They're very surgical with how they use their utility, how they push up together for those retakes, and each player has been going massive. Kohaibi especially with beautiful sprays.
Yeah, especially towards the end, Kohaibi definitely. But when it comes to attack for BOBA, though, they don't have the Viper. So one thing I'm worried about will be their rubble control. It would be very difficult for them to get control of the rubbles without the Viper. So, you know, they need to keep in mind that their attack might be a little bit predictable. So I guess making those unpredictable plays will be very crucial for BOBA if they do want to close this out 2-0.
That's right. So let's see whether or not it is going to be a 2-0 or are we going to go to a 2-1 and maybe a last map pick. So going to toss it over to the casters, Tay and Zach. Give me some hype.
Hype. I don't know if that's enough hype here for you, Tash, but we're bringing it here. Second half, and BOBA, they have the chance to end things here, take matters into their own hands, and close it out 2-0. I think Aura, though, they have definitely put up quite a fight here. I mean, it's the underdog versus Goliath, and Aura definitely proving that they're more than just that underdog in the story here. It's me, Zach, joined once again by the wonderful Tayrawr, and we are here to walk you through the action in the second half of Lotus.
All right. This is the most important pistol round, especially for Aura. It's a do or die match here that we have in the lower bracket, right? And they must, or they have to win it if they want to stay much closer for the time being with BOBA. But then again, they do have that double control agent, so maybe we can see more of that, especially here on the defense as well. Oh, good kill towards the Yumi there. Pai still answering back here, but then again, 3 players from the side of BOBA goes down. All the utilities being thrown. The swing from Kohaibi only managed to punish 1 here, but then 34 HP remaining onto Kohaibi.
Oh my.
No rifles this time, Zach. It all has to be this. They were even healing up as well.
Yeah, I saw Grabs pull out the regrowth, and I was like, all right, Kohaibi, you better hit 3 headshots in a row, because otherwise you're not walking through that. And unfortunately, even for the likes of Kohaibi, it's just a little bit too much to ask for here. That said, though, we were talking about how this retake could play out, but I mean, honestly speaking, just the awareness from Tess to be able to shut off that pinch from B towards C side. Again, we're talking about the research, the kind of meticulousness that Aura have to show for their troubles, and I think that BOBA, they really did use that B split onto C side a lot in their attacks in their previous games that they played. So they've definitely done the research, they've done their stratting, and they're able to counter it very perfectly, and that's gonna put them in the lead once again. Equal round here for the side of BOBA here. Not the greatest economy to work with. Aluka does have the Sheriff, but aside from that, should be a very easy conversion for Aura, and you can see how carefully they're playing. They're not really making any mistakes, no over-aggression, no risk of dropping these guns over to the opposite side. Very, very disciplined.
A little bit of showing, and immediately you see 1 snakebite being used up, some utilities destroyed, especially for Tess. 1 Nano Swarm popped as well. They're trying to find value out of this round. Sawamura, upper hand position here as he sees Kohaibi a little bit, but they just baiting out some of the players here of Aura. So far, no kills yet, but this might be the first one if Grahams sees some of the players. But thanks to that wall, they don't. From 5, by the way.
Yeah, a little bit sus there, but all good. 5-1-5 retake, better weaponry, like you said. Dizzy gonna connect onto this player in the corner, and they're gonna be advancing in full scale onto Starry, but here, still with the weapon switch as well as some teammates, they're able to find these crucial kills. Oh my god, the classic doesn't quite connect. A rare whiff from Ayumi, and Fai is able to take full advantage of it. This time around, the Guaibi at a 1v3 once again does have a gun to work with here. The Stinger, though, not the best weapon necessarily for those confrontations, and Sawamura takes care of her to find another defuse. 8-6 right now for Boba, and I think that while most teams tend to look a little bit more favored on the attacking side, I really like Aura's defense because it is so disciplined, it is so meticulous in the way that the team really is able to come in and support each other in these pivotal moments, and they're just so good at trades. It's what really annoys me about a lot of teams, that they don't trade well, and because of that they lose out on the advantages they get. I think that Aura doesn't have that problem.
Yeah,
at least on Lotus.
they definitely don't. Even on game number 1, I find that the trades that they're doing, especially helping out their other half, other teammates as well, has been impactful for a lot of rounds. A little bit of an info, especially with that hunt, but only finds one, which is actually just one towards A site here. The rest stack on B and C. If Baby TZ plans to go for a dry peek here, she might be able to cash one. A lot of damage towards that, actually, for Wallbang itself. They tried to reposition themselves towards B instead. They know there's still one more on C, and that's a Viper. They don't want to push out a Viper orb here, but they might go for a re-hit instead, not letting them know their next move here, Zach.
Might be a good idea as well, especially since you only really have this Viper to try and anchor down the site. There is an auto swarm though to try and deny the plant, so a little bit of advanced planning could come in clutch here. Fly though, looking to fall back. This Thrash really putting in the pressure here, and I think it can possibly be picked up and used against Boba. They take control of the site. Wingman now on his way to plant the spike. Might be broken down though, thanks to that nano swarm. So it's gonna have to be retrieved, and it's gonna give the side of Aura a little bit more time to try and make this retake work out. Casper will be able to retrieve the spike. Finally gets it down onto site. Dizzy not gonna really catch anything apart from this one player towards CT, and now with 2 Bulldogs and a classic, how do you make a 3v4 retake work? That is the question.
Let's see. It all starts with a kill, right? Especially with the whip. Ayumi doesn't hit the shots, but still an opportunity arises for the side of Boba. They want to go for the trade-offs. Ayumi throws in the paint shells, making Graham's a little bit stuck further along. Again, with the classic, not much you can do here. Round for Boba. We close things off to a 7-8.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bonus for Aura, so at least they were able to find a couple of kills, kind of denying the flawless here. But especially 5 being shut down, the Killjoy really helped in regards of forcing the hand of Boba to go into the C side, even if they weren't already considering it. That said, the Boba, they're able to carry these 3 weapons forward. They did invest a Thrash in that previous round. It's not really something you want to be using, but because of how fast that Gecko ult charges, it's not like necessarily the biggest sacrifice. I do think that Aura, they've been a little bit more passive around this A side, and they're kind of looking to change it off the back of this one way. They're not getting super aggressive though.
They know.
Oh, never mind. Sorry, but TP's over, and Goibi spots it. That's gonna be some huge information. And already look at Goibi's position. She's so far ahead here. Takes down 1. Graham's there for the trade though, and trade after trade coming in. Aura coming out on top 3v2.
Took them long enough to peek that as well. Starry Bun, basically the paranoia dissipated already, and she was still able to pick up 1 kill from that positioning where honestly she was already done dead if that was the case. 3v2 now. Aluka and Baby TZ trying to find their own space, their own pacing as well. And you could see Aura still having that discipline to really just wait and have a faster rotation altogether if they can. Especially they still have a turret set upon here, right in front of Aluka as well.
Poison's off.
Timing
Right
could
there.
be everything here, and Aluka on this lure
30 seconds
does manage to
left.
cross the turret, catches out Tess, huge double kill for her, and now it's gonna be her versus the world. Takes down Sawamura as well. The lurk of the century here coming out of Aluka. You know, that 2v3, it looked pretty done, but I think because Aura, they were playing off that turret, trying to stay together. Aluka just found the perfect gap in that defense to take care of it. Like, the timing could not have been better. And while I like this initiative out of Aura, I think that
30 seconds left.
especially Sawamura when she fell back, I feel like they could have like been a little bit more proactive in terms of playing onto sites or just sticking together as three, because I don't know, how do you leave a hole that big in your defenses that somebody just walks in and kills all three of you? How?
They
So
got
good
trapped
call,
by
though.
their own trap here, Zach. That's what happened. But look at this trap set upon by BOBA. Instead, they managed to pick up 2 kills. 2-2 is what we've seen when it comes to the trades, like we've said. They're prepared. They're ready. From the shadows available if they do want to reposition. Baby TZ on the other hand, she's playing outwards. It seems like the 2 players from Aura will peek. They do, and they get, or she
my.
gets, the 2 kills in. This opens up C for them to take a clear plan for the time being. But we do know Baby TZ is very low on the HP.
Spike planted.
Yeah, no Sky available for BOBA at all to heal up, so Baby TZ stuck on 21 HP for the duration of this round, unless of course she dies, in which case she will be down to 0. My very intelligent observation aside, it's a 3v1. Storybun does have a Vandal in hand, but just the positionings out of BOBA, they are so good in their post plant when they have a time to set up, and Aluka just cleans it up here. 9 for BOBA now. They really retook the lead here. It wasn't eco there for Aurora, but this is a huge swing round because I think whoever wins this will have crucial momentum for the rest of the game. And Aura, they have the tools with which to try and close it out. A lot of major ultimates online for them, especially that Showstoppers, which is what I have my eyes on. This could be a massive round if they can win it.
This round is done, but my thoughts on that round where Aluka played around the turret is not yet done. It's still in my mind. And I think for the players of Aura, it will be as well. But it's still a very close fight. Aura still has a very big chance here against BOBA, especially they're on a series point right now. Casper trying to find space. They keep doing this. They just play for the push and pull. They want to know where people are going to be right in front, up close and personal. They go. Baby TZ and Ayumi to get the kill. And now with a showstopper out, not going to hit anyone. But this allows Ayumi to at least give the info. It's going to be on the left side. Available ultimates. There's going to be a Nightfall prepared for them as well.
Yeah, I think the call here is just to save in a 2v4 unless you find something very quickly. Now, Tessa, if she gets a kill, she will have that lockdown available. So I think that might be the priority here. Nice flick by Fi to take out Ayumi. 3v2 situation. The Nightfall gonna tag up both of these players, gets the information that everyone is here, and off the back of that, it's gonna be a little bit of a fallback from this team to play contact with each other. Glybe watching towards CT, Baby TZ watching this waterfall angle here. Thrash coming out from Aluka as well, looking to really do the damage. Actually gonna detain a player as well.
No?
Yeah, just helpless, and no, they're not following. They're like so dumb.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, we got the round, we have our weaponry, and we managed to. If you can keep your guns, good for you. But overall, it's just gonna be one player on the hunt. I think Aluka looking a little bit hungry here, but aside from that, they will be able to save.
Well, at least they were able to save up the 2 Vandals that they have currently here for Aura. Again, there's just too much to account for, especially you throw in a showstopper, you throw in a Nightfall afterwards as well, with just the perfect timing, just to make sure no one else can come into the site. There was just a lot of space created for BOBA to make an entry in a post plant happen, thanks to these all, like, ultimates that they currently had.
I think that they still have that showstopper, and if Tess can get a kill, that could be really, really important. But this is a round that they have to win here, okay? Because they just don't have the money to keep buying up and hoping that it would work out. It's their last full buy, and they've already had to compromise by putting Grahams on this Guardian as well as Storybun on this Bulldog. Not really the ideal weapons you want to have when you're going up against a team like BOBA, who have this time around very quickly swamped their way onto this A site. They've been conditioning the default for so long that this A site hit might have caught them unaware. That said, though, this attacking lockdown is going to create even more pressure. The trade found onto site as Tess gets shut down. No more potential for a retake. With the help of that Killjoy lockdown here, it's just going to be a 4-on-4 confrontation. Storybun on the flank gets detected, timing not in her favor, and then Alarmbot is going to give the game away.
It is indeed. Sawamura also needs to reposition. Again, the patience coming in from BOBA, especially on this post plant. Will someone die off from the showstopper?
Oh, no.
No, doesn't seem like it, because everyone from Aura is gonna die off instead. 11-8, and BOBA 1 point away from that match point.
very, very unlucky there for Starry, but just the timing on the lockdown and that alarm bot being reactivated, just a second more and she could have had it. But I think that was conscious. That was a conscious decision, rather, I would say, by BOBA to be sure that that flank is covered. And their post plants as well. There were so many layers that you would have to break through. You'd have to get through that player all the way up on Raptors first to try and take care of the showstopper early on, and then the crossfires on site. The player playing all the way back, watching for the flank. There's just so many layers once that spike goes down, and I feel like Aura just didn't really have a chance. They're going to be forcing again this time around. A bit of a half buy here for a couple of players, so Tess and Fi might be able to buy up together in that next. I'm wondering if we're going to be seeing this Viper's ult committed early on towards the C side to try and deny BOBA from taking control on it.
Doesn't seem like it. If it was, she might have already popped that. And she is just preparing the snake bite, everyone's already inside the site. Kohibi, Ayumi trying to punish players left and right here. BOBA eliminating everyone they could see right now. They know they had the upper advantage when it comes to the guns. Now left to Tess with her sheriff. Not gonna use that lockdown any longer for sure. But it's just about finding anyone she can get a kill from here. It's not gonna happen as BOBA secures match point.
Match and series point here. One more round for their rematch in that grand final against Zipto. And I think Aura differential, they had a really good start, but they've kind of been struggling in their defensive side just because of the explosiveness that BOBA really brings to these executes. They looked a little bit shaky in those first couple of rounds, but since they got a full buy in, it's been 6 rounds in a row here, and they show no signs of stopping. This is the round that Aura have every chance to win, though, because of the ultimates that they have into play. Both that Viper split and that lockdown could be crucial here, and Aura, despite the losses so far, still looking to go aggressive, go toe-to-toe, head-to-head here. Beautiful hot from Kohibi, along with the flashes, along with the utility. They want to end it here and now, and as a triple kill to start things off with on their approach onto this A side. 2v5, Tay.
Still, they do have that utility play that they can do, but I don't think they would really have that space for a lockdown or even the Viper pit. But nonetheless, Fi was still able to pick up on 2 kills. Now with the showstopper up in her face, I don't think she would peak anytime soon. It's all about waiting. It's all about just pushing them out just to not have that time, that ability to make a retake happen. And BOBA secures grand finals today.
Yeah, smile on Kohibi, a little sip of BOBA. Yeah, gotta celebrate your win with style, and what a win it was too. 2-0, very, very clean win for them, but it wasn't the easiest win at all. Like, huge shout out to Aura Differential for putting up a fight every step of the way. And on both of these maps, like, if somebody had told me that a new team with players that you've barely heard of will be sweeping in and going toe-to-toe with arguably the best players of their countries, I would have been like, yeah, you're beaming. But no, Aura Differential really showing that they're a team not just good in terms of fundamentals, but also really good in terms of improving on the fly mid-tournament. And I think that we have a lot to see from them during stage 2 and during the rest of the year. But for now, at least, BOBA, well-earned victory for them. Enjoy your boba tea, ladies, because you've deserved it. And anything else you want to say, Tay, before we throw it back to our panel?
I would just say the boba buff is real. I mean, you see it with Kohibi, and later I'm gonna get myself some. Maybe it works with my ranked games right here. But nonetheless, we're finally getting to see who's gonna be on the grand finals. And then again, it's Sipto versus BOBA. But nonetheless, to break things down and what happened when it comes to this series, we want to say goodbye and thanks to you guys for also being here with us, Tayrawr and Zahk. But now, passing you on to Tashbunny, the best bunny. Tash, go ahead.
That was so cute. That caught me off guard.
Bunny.
Anyways, thank you so much to Tay and Zahk for that incredible class. So now coming back here, I love to see that game just now. Again, to what Zahk and Tay had said, that we would not have expected this to come toe-to-toe. I mean, we talked about in the pre-show, Jen, about how we thought that, you know, map number 1, especially on Sunset, would be heavily leaning in the favor of BOBA, and that did not happen, only toward the second half. And I think for BOBA, one of the things that we did notice is that when they have one half, that's their best half, is going to be done to perfection. But for the other half, the other teams can take their time to really, I would say, to really learn how to just outplay them. And in this situation, it feels like Aura had done exactly that. Now in this 8-13, I think that it's a lot more, definitely something to be proud of, especially in the first half. The fact that Aura was doing very well, especially on the attack side, but on the defense side, it looks like, sorry, on the well, I'm getting confused. On the defense side. Sorry, on the defense side. But on the attack side, it just looks like Boba was just doing a little bit better. And that's exactly what I had suspected. Now, I think that in this situation, in this particular map, what's happening right now is the fact that both teams are just outplaying each other and having a good read. It's very explosive from the side of Aura Differential. We see it from Sawamura. We see it from Graham. And we're seeing this very explosive takes. But after a while, on the attack side for Aura Differential, we start to see this change or this readaptation by Boba by saying, that's fine, let's just pull away, go all the way back, and go for these 5v5 retakes. At first, it didn't really work out. We saw that protocol set out there, especially the good calls from Starryban to come through, how they're already saying, okay, they're going to do for a 5v5 retake. They already have this ult. This is what we're going to do. And that's exactly what they did. But then you see that readjustment from Boba as well, when we start to see Baby TZ maybe push out main, get a pick, and then they would try to go for that back off and then go for that re-hit once again. It's all about that mental play coming through, and it's all about that trigger discipline that come as well. The only explosive person in Boba is Ayumi, and the rest is all just playing for holds and playing for trades.
But you know what? I would have to kind of disagree with that, because if it wasn't for a Lucas triple kill, this might have been a different story. Because you know that round 16 where she got that 3 kills on that Gecko, that was the only and huge opportunity for Aura to put a stop to Boba's momentum. But that didn't quite happen because of Aluka, you know, making those unpredictable plays, selling fakes, rotating over to B around that alarm bot, and you know, it was just a massive swing round from Boba, because you know she was able to fill up that ult point, get that thresh online, and then it just kind of snowballed from there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that when you look at that particular round, I think it's also really good because you don't really expect a Gecko on the lurk. And that's exactly what happened. I mean, when you think about lurks, you're going to think about maybe TZ, perhaps, right? But or maybe even Casper, but that didn't happen. I think that's exactly what happened there, is just that I would say readaptation, or the idea that each player is able to play very independently. They don't need to be called or even told what to do every single time. Now, coming into this heat map here, I can see that a lot of the fights are happening toward on the bend area, on the mound area, on the rubble area. And that's exactly what I was suspecting was going to be happening. And we're not seeing a lot that fights happen more toward that rubble area because of that re-clear potential that came through from Kohaibi's utility, whether it be the Prowler, rather it be the Haunt. And in a lot of situations, the Haunt, even though it does get destroyed so very early, it does still give enough information. And I think the readaptations and I would say the repositioning of each player has really allowed for them to really play very, very safe. And you know remember how I said yesterday that in this for the team of Aura Differential is all about that very aggressive hero plays to come through. I think today it was really shut down by Boba very well, because they're so quick to find out where Graham was going to be. They're so quick to really check on their flanks. I mean, Starryban tried to make that happen, right? We saw on a particular round where Starryban was able to go for that lurk, but then Baby TZ moved back to just reset her alarm bot, and then suddenly she got caught out. So I think that this awareness to come through that these lurks are going to be happening, whether it be from Graham or even Starryban, has really saved them from being backstabbed or just getting dwindled in terms of numbers.
Yeah, one of the things I worried about on the side of Boba was their Viperless comp, right? So, you know, they, especially with the A info, they solely rely on the alarm bot, and I was worried that maybe Baby TZ's position might be revealed just too easily, because often it's the only thing that watches that A, but that wasn't really the problem for Boba today.
Yeah, and not surprised seeing Kohaibi with a 20 bomb and 28% headshot percentage. I mean, like, she's been putting numbers in that headshot percentage, which is honestly high. And it's about 2.4, about like 2.5 kills per round as well, which means that her multi-frags have been massive. I think in a lot of situations, we see Kohaibi just really coming back either for those trades, and her spray downs have been massive. She managed to get a 3-pick or a 2-pick in these chokes. And I think I saw that as well on Sunset, where she's able to just really put in that pressure, whether it be on the broken door from A Link, or whether it be from top B. And she's been doing a lot of work in these situations as well. Her rates have been immaculate, and I think at this point, her experience at IGL going further has just really set her up for today's success. So big props to her coming today as well. And I have to say that despite the fact that BOBA did come up on top, I am incredibly proud and happy to see this show up from a very, very new team, or a differential. Yeah, going toe to toe with a team of veterans, being able to just really outread and counter each play very well, which I think some rounds it felt like BOBA was genuinely stumped at what to do. So I'm really excited to see what they have to offer for us for split number 2. So thank you so much, and big kudos for making it to 3rd place to our differential. And now we finally have our 2 teams that will be playing in the grand finals tomorrow, and we're going to be seeing a BOBA versus Zipto for the last time, and this would be the 3rd time they will be going up against each other. And I'm really excited because it's really hard to say what Zipto can bring to the table, because they're so creative and they're just so, I would say, aggressive. They're very, very flexible on what agents to use, but I am very curious to see exactly what the coach of BOBA has to offer as well. I mean, we talked about Fall, and how creative he is with his comps, with his strats, with his plays, and how he managed to build the SMG roster to what it was last year on top of that. So I'm really curious to see whether or not they'll be able to come back. I think that we're going to be having a quick interview in a little while. There we go. And I think it's going to be a little bit wild. So let's talk a little bit about what we can expect tomorrow. So Jen, asking you, I mean, obviously we know what Zipto can bring to the table, but what do you think are the odds, or what we think we can expect BOBA to do tomorrow? Can they surprise us?
In terms of comp, I don't really know, but I don't think there's going to be any more surprises coming from Zipto, particularly on the map that they've already played each other on. So maybe BOBA will be pretty much ready for that, and maybe not as caught off guard as the last time that they faced together. But I don't know. I really don't know what to expect. But I can tell you this: your jinx is broken. So whoever you predict tomorrow might win.
Yes,
so
I'm free. I am free. I'm not expecting anything, because I think when we look at stats, there's going to be a very heavy 2-0. But I'm really expecting more from what we can see from BOBA tomorrow. And speaking of that, let's ask the coach of BOBA himself, Fall, what we can expect to see. And he is coming online right now. Hello, Alex. It's good to see you off your stream and on an official broadcast once again. So, I mean, like, I think a few weeks ago, I did come to your stream and you did say that you got a coaching offer. So, this is it. I'm excited to see you working with the girls once again. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about BOBA. So, the thing is that, we know how the girls came together, but did you have a hand in the girls that were picked to join this team?
Initially, when we want to form a team for this open, right, we were trying to handpick some players, like shortlist some players. Like what options do we have? Because we don't have much time to prepare for the open. That's where thank God that we have these few players that came aboard.
So BOBA will be going up against Zipto in the grand finals tomorrow, right? For the 4th time, or fourth time.
Yeah.
I believe. What are you going to tell the ladies? What do you need to tell them to make sure that you come out on top this time?
Okay, to be very honest, coming into this open, we don't have much expectations, because we didn't have enough prep. We literally came out like 1 week before the open started. Secondly, we just trying to play our A game. Doesn't matter. I always tell them, it doesn't matter if we win or lose, but just make it a good game for the viewers, for every one of us. So I think for tomorrow, our main priority is just to literally give them play heads on with them. Try to take fights. Just be more confident in ourselves.
Well then, I want to remind back to Lotus. What was your reaction? Because we rarely get to see the coaches camp when Aluka went on that lurk and ended up finding that 3 kills.
I mean, when I have all these players in mind, I knew that they have the capability to produce this kind of this kind of plays. I have faith in them in whatever they're doing. So I don't really interfere in what kind of play style that they are doing. So yeah, I always expect everyone able to clutch or make plays and stuff like that. So I'm pretty chill.
All right, so I'm really curious right now. I mean, like I did talk to Baby TZ a bit about the preps and the fundamentals that you've been prepping with the team. Now I know that one of the biggest barriers for you right now is the amount of time you've had together with the team, right? 1 week together, barely any time to prep for this week as well. So obviously you guys are more, I think, prepared or just looking forward more towards split number 2 now. I mean, with no expectations tomorrow, of course. Now coming into tomorrow, I mean, we already talked about expectations of tomorrow, but what do you think your team needs to overcome to be the best in Southeast Asia and overcome the rest of the rosters?
It's funny how we had this conversation just yesterday, because I feel that the biggest fight that we are taking is not the opponents. Can be Sipto, can be Aura, can be anyone. But the most important is we have to fight ourselves. It becomes like it's a 5v5 game, but it becomes like a 5v10 game. Because we are starting to dub ourselves. This kind of stuff. So I feel that the thing that we need to really do is just to overcome ourselves in general. And to have just the trust and faith into the team, into whatever we are in the process, whatever we train and stuff like that. Yeah.
Wow, I mean, that's a very, very good words of wisdom, and very different from Fall, who's usually out here trolling. So thank you so much for that. Good luck tomorrow. I'm really excited. Really excited, or your troll comps, your troll picks, or even, and hopefully you and the girls can have fun and really enjoy split number 1. Thank you so much. See you guys tomorrow.
Thank you. Yeah, see you tomorrow.
All right, there we have it. Our coach Fall. Definitely a very different individual now compared to last year, and I'm really excited for this growth. I'm really excited to see what more we can expect from the girls. I think this is definitely a tournament, a match that is going to be talked about a lot. I think even though it's the 4th time they're coming head to head, I really want to see more from Zipto. Definitely want more from Boba as well. But for Jen, what do you want to see tomorrow? Anything weird? Anything fun?
5 game night.
5 game night. 5 game day. Wow, you have a lot of expectations.
There you go.
I mean, I don't blame you. That will be the best. I would love to see a 5 mapper. I would love to see the girls, go toe to toe. And speaking about toe to toes, let's look at the brackets, the updated brackets of our journey from the beginning till the end for this particular week. What do you think, Jen?
Hello?
Oh, she's back. Okay, Jen, what do you think?
Oh yeah, I'm good. What do I think?
Yes, of the brackets so far.
Of the bracket so far, okay. Our differential, hats off to them, because it's been a tough journey, playing every single day for 4 days straight. But Boba, obviously, looking very, very strong, going up against Zipto. I just really want to watch tomorrow's game. Me too. I just can't wait.
Me too. I think it's really exciting. I think Boba has a buff. We call it the lower bracket buff. We saw it. We've seen it with our own 2 eyes from Madrid. So I'm really hoping to see it here today as well. We also saw it over on Challengers MYSG. So Zipto having a few days off on top of today to really prep, be able to do their VOD reviews, and possibly be watching this game as well against Boba, who has to go a little bit further. I think personally for me, that momentum that when you play every day is definitely not to be underestimated, because it has really shown us, especially this year in Masters and some Challengers as well, that lower bracket runs can be just as blah 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 blah. I can't talk today. Just as exciting, just as successful and exciting onto the grand finals itself. But coming as well, I mean, Zipto definitely a big name that has been coming up here, especially for their success last year. The majority 4 of their players going all the way to the top 4 of Game Changers championships. I think for them as well, this is definitely something that they want to try and defend. Their undefeated run in Game Changers APAC last year.
Yeah. And now I'm thinking about getting myself a boba.
Oh, me too.
You know?
Yeah. Thank you,
Let's go do
Kohaibi,
that.
for that. We should go do that. So thank you very much, everyone at home, for spending time with us and watching and give your support to the Valorant Game Changers Southeast Asia. I'm Tashbunny and Jen. We are done for tonight, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for the grand finals.